Recording on alphabet. There it is. That pig, that bitch. There we go. Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to Tomes and Tales RPG. Got a fun, spicy one that we alluded to, like, fuck me, I don't know how long it was. It was like before Christmas for us. So.
Always swearing in the first 30
I do it every time.
Oh.
Do the thing, Sam. Do the thing.
Clack, clack, clack.
Yeah, there it is.
Just use that sound.
Excellent. So we're going to return back to our gloomy city of Hanifrace 2 days before the gala, but on a very familiar evening, but not for the reasons we're going to expect. But that'll all be explained in a moment. So in the meantime, sit back and join us on this very fun, goofy episode of Tomes and Tales. Cut to intro. Ooh.
Tomes and Tales presents the Undying League.
And welcome back. Headmaster Ryandel says goodbye to his newfound brother in a halfling named Hugel. As the voice of an elven woman can be heard calling for him down the hall, he smiles as he says
you
goodbye.
and get you to restart it. Is that too close to this mic? Do you want me to pivot this a bit closer to me?
Let's do that. It only picks up from that way.
Oh, okay, cool. Start again. Sorry.
No, you're right. Yeah, we'll just cut back in.
He's got his eyes on the prize.
Yeah. Just cut that out.
He's watching out for all of us.
He pulls the wooden doors to his chamber shut and turns with a darkened look on his face. He walks towards his large wooden desk and opens a large, underside cabinet and removes a perfectly spherical crystal on a black iron stand, which he places very similar to the Palantirs from Lord of the Rings, where it's got like that weird smoky kind of substance, but it's got this like huge ornate, like almost looks like what you'd think a dragon's skeletal hand would look like holding it like by these perfect little pinpoints. And he places it softly upon his desk and he stares deeply at it for a moment. And then with a heavy exhale, like a resigned sigh, he places his hands upon it as he closes his eyes, awaiting an answer. And we cut to a darkened room, lowly lit by small candles, but seemingly a room of carved stone, perhaps marble with the reflective surfaces. An almost identical stone appears to glow on a desk across from a four-poster bed, and very groggily doing like the dad sit-up noises, this person stands up from the bed and wanders to the crystal, and they place a rugged hand upon it, and a soft blue glow fills the room. And you hear this my older voice, seemingly already knowing who's on the other end of the line. This person says, Ryandel, how are you, old friend? And Ryandel lets out an exhale and he goes, I'm good, Theos. I'm well. However, this is not the call for chit-chat, as they say in common. I'm calling in my favor of the League. The shadowed humanoid, that of a man, stiffens up. That bad, huh? I'll have the team put together, and as soon as you send the word, I'll have them sent over. Thank you, comrade. Theos laughs to himself and goes, they'll be walking into your office from outside your city walls, so be careful and be ready. Theos says with a chuckle as Ryandel laughs, and they both move away from their elaborate sending stones of some sort, these great distance fucking telecommunication devices of some sort.
Balls, brother.
Crystal balls, brother.
Let me ponder my war.
Yeah. You know, he's
Bitch, you're not gonna believe.
sitting down like this, like, I'm pondering. But we move across oceans, tempestuous storms, and rough waters to the land of Velikrinos, within the mountain city of Thessandras. The architectural marvel sits ever so faintly over the edge of the mountain's face, but also within it. This metropolis was built to exist within and also just outside the embrace of the harsh but forgiving mountain known as Carathian, which is the Horn of the Gods. However, we return back to the darkened halls of this yet nameless building as this individual, this Theos, marches through, pulling a large cloak over his shoulders, long salt and pepper hair draped over his back. And we see him now, his beard matches his hair and his face shows a human man, maybe into his 40s, and he wears his wisdom and his many years of service on his face, like crow's feet, scars, wrinkles. creases from years of shouting and squinting and frowning, it would look like. It seems to be perpetual cross lines on his forehead. Broad-shouldered and visibly very strong, even for his age. And his heavy footsteps turn down a hall and through a magnificent set of double doors, what one expects maybe to be a war room or an office of some sort. Instead, you are met with... Yeah, there we go. Fucking metal. This Theos, this elderly gentleman, steps into an enormous tomb. Coffins are lined within the walls themselves, but oddly enough are left with enough room for the actual coffin tops to be opened within these recessed stone crevices that are cut into the walls. Within this tomb, in the center of this tomb, so this hallway, like, let's be real, spans on for our measurement, probably about 15-20 meters. Like, it's long, like, it's decent, and it's just coffins as far as the wall can span. In this hallway alone, probably maybe fit like 30-40 coffins in there with the way they've stacked them up, like up to the ceiling and stuff. And in the middle of this hallway, because the hallway's decently wide enough, there's this large apparatus. It's like a large altar of some sort with another perfectly spherical crystal, maybe diamond, like as a base, but it seems to have been like alchemically like transmuted to like hold different crystals within it. Notes of black onyx and like weird perpetual layer of black smoke that seems to just ever faintly hover around the edge of it. There we go. And then obviously the stone that holds it is also just inlaid with black onyx out the wazoo. Theos straightens up and places his hand upon the crystal, and with a burst of magical light, the room is filled with an intense and audible wind as blue and black onyx magic swirls through the air into a small selection of the coffins. And if you were to be next to him, you would hear him say it like just in a normal speaking voice, but when he speaks it, it booms out like thaumaturgic magic as it booms out down the hallways, seemingly trying to get to the ears of, at this point, which just seems to be a multitude of corpses in boxes in the walls. And he says, "Soldiers of an Undying League, I summon you back to this mortal plane. I summon you now to fulfill your oaths and defend the realm and its people. Return now and fulfill your duty." For the five of you, immediately, the last divine memory you have being in your places of what your worship of heaven would be, whatever god you follow, your reverie, instantly you feel a tightening grip around like your immortal soul, and you're all pulled back and ripped from those heavens that you wish to be interred in, as your soul is thrust back into your body with like you just feel it. And like for inside the hallway, the five coffins that are affected by this magic, like dust audibly flicks out of it, like your body's just got dumped out of a rip in space-time. And you all wake up like coughing, spluttering, like actual like dust coming out of your mouths, like you've not drawn breath for about 50 odd years at this point, so your throat is very, very dry. like a leather handbag that's been left out in the sun too long. Very dry. And as, like for some of you, depending on any grievous wounds you had beforehand, as you wake up and your eyes come to and you look up, you watch like the flesh being rewound over like your hands. And like if you were full body from your previous death, but you were obviously like dehydrated from the lack of moisture being a corpse, you watch it ever so slowly, little droplets of water are pulled out of the air and like reconstitute in your skin to like give back like that moisture in your body. But as you're all waking up, maybe do we want to go around the table and we can just introduce everyone's characters. By this point, you do not have any of your equipment. Your equipment is stored somewhere else, but you're just in normal like white garb, like funeral home garb kind of thing. So if you'd like, maybe we go around the table, we can just describe like everyone, who they see, everyone's race, any little quirky bits they want to add on for this particular little event.
So are we dressed in something they've dressed us in, or just...
Yes, this is just literal white top, white pants.
Alright.
I know where this is going.
Oh, God.
You know, the top of the coffin comes like launching off, like quicker and more than it should, and out comes this huge like huge guy with antlers poking out 3-4 inches, probably even more, like coming out above his head. He sort of stretches. Oh, I've missed this body. Steps out, tears the shirt off, checks himself out. You're looking at like just a shredded 6'5" to the top of his head, probably closing in on just under 7 foot with his antlers. Huge, ripped himbo of a man. A little bit animalistic in the face, with big antlers sticking out at the top. And he's just checking himself out, making sure that everything's where it should be. Oh, that's better.
I feel like it
drops down, does one of those like drops, and starts doing push-ups.
Oh my god, he's so...
And that's Mac.
There's like Theos puts our finger to his head and said descending, hide the baby oil. Oh my god, wonderful. So there is Mac. Who wants to go next?
Let's go to Sue.
Okay. Alright, so next one coming out the box, a little bit slower to the launch, is Ostara. There's Spring Eldrin, so it's a light greenish kind of tinge to the skin. And she got eyes light purple, kind of like jacaranda flowers, if you know those.
Hell yeah.
And her hair is short. It's mostly stark white. But you do notice there are strips in it that look like that probably used to be the majority colour. But after this many resurrections, it's just taken its toll, and that's how it's presented for her. And it's kind of the colour of, you know when you go out west in Australia and you get to that sort of reddish brown dirt? Yeah, strips of that throughout it. There's a couple scars and everything. She just sort of stretches and goes, oh shit, awake again, are we? Oh well. And just pops down next to Mac and just...
Sit on my back.
Straight on, like, yeah, just like, look how good my bed is.
Oh my god, what have I done? I brought this on myself. I did this. Oh, lordy.
A bit further down, there's a coffin, and you hear, hello, it's locked, it's locked, and you hear rattling, and then, oh, it wasn't locked. It's okay, it wasn't locked. That's very embarrassing. Oh.
You look over and sitting on my back, like, doing push-ups. He goes to one-arm push-ups and waves.
I wish I felt that good when I woke up. Oh, is there anyone else? And she'll start looking around for the next person to wake up.
What was her name? Sorry?
Lelianna. Sorry, Lelianna.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a kind of like a teal skinned tiefling. She's got kind of like sea green hair that is just very neatly parted, and it has a long plait down her back. And her tail is rattling very nervously behind her as she looks around.
Everyone that's already awake will just hear grunting, and then just like the slow push of the coffin lid. Someone needs to fucking reorganize this shit. I'm not doing this every time. And then Finnegan just comes out, sitting up. In his hands, though, is a small book, and he kind of looks down like, what the fuck? And he sits there for a couple of minutes and just like reads this little journal that he has in his hand. Not even introducing himself to anyone. He don't give a shit. He's been woken up for work. That's all he cares about. And so he sits there reading. He is a Asama human. So I just want to reiterate this to make sure that you guys know as well. For it's just a little tidbit for his backstory. He was chosen and given the powers of an Asama, but born a noble human. So he wasn't born an Asama. So there's that.
It's an inherited gift.
So he's very human looking, not very angelic looking. And yeah, he just sits there for about 5-10 minutes just reading this weird leather journal that he's got in his hands that was in his coffin.
Love that.
While Finnegan is sitting there reading his book, there's a creak of another coffin. But there's no other noise until the As Vasco leans over Finnegan's shoulder, what are you reading?
Fucking Nanya.
Halfling about 3'5". He's a tiny little blonde bean, but he needs to know everyone's business. Just immediately, not even a creak or a pop. He's just there. Like, what are you reading?
Finnegan
What are you
holds
reading?
up the journal,
What are you reading?
puts it next to Vasco's head.
He crouches and he starts. What are you reading?
Vasco?
Yes. It says in bold underneath. Wanker.
Annoying.
It's like one of those Tarantino like cars where it says a person's name and like a thing about them. Vasco, annoying little shit.
In Finnegan's journal is just a little description of Vasco and Lelianna specifically. They've been on travels before, and so he's written a little journal describing a short story-ish of what they've done before, and basically so then when he is resurrected he can remind himself of the people that he spent his time with.
So what are you reading? Mr. You know my name, but I don't know yours.
It's gonna be pretty funny if I don't tell you, then you're gonna have to figure it out on your own.
Hey, you.
This is bullying.
You're creepy.
You're secretive. Fucking jumps down, gets a look at you and goes. Looks over to a little bit anxious, a little bit freaked out.
They're getting tiny people now.
Hey, that's racist. You can't use tiny.
But what do you mean? It's just you are tiny.
You're pretty tiny.
Can we say small?
Can we say imp?
Small is good. Imp is not good.
Okay.
Small it is.
I'm gonna break his shin.
You're pretty close to him.
You guys all start having.
Still doing push-ups.
Max just like sunk his fingers into the stone and is just doing pull-ups in the ceiling. Phaos clears his
Hang off
throat. Yeah. Come on, my leg. Phaos clears his throat as the magic of this giant like crystal returns to its point of origin and seemingly goes back into orbit. Like that soft smoke goes into around orbit. It's only you. It's only the five of you at this point that seem to have been summoned. But he moves towards a cabinet where there's a tapped barrel like kind of mounted to it, and he grabs a tray and several glasses and fills them with what you can see to be cool, fresh water, seemingly kept within and drawn from the mountain. And he, and again, for an old, grumpy-looking man, and he's kind of got like that Sam Elliott kind of mustache beard going on, so you can't really, you can see his bottom lip, but you can't see his top lip, so it's kind of like cartoony. Think old mate's dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, where he's just got a big mustache. And he smiles and he goes, "Returning is always hell on the throat, isn't it?" Mm-hmm. And he puts the tray down in the middle of a table. Like having a bit too much fun with like how disorientated everyone is looking. And he claps his hands and goes, "Well, guess what? You have one more job to do. I know you're only a few years off retirement, but this one's a personal favor that I owe to a brother of mine. So perhaps we can just go take care of this. Yes? Wonderful. Now, I don't have all the information right now, but he will. So we'll take you to your equipment, get yourselves ready, and then we'll take you to the amphitheater where we can disclose a little bit more information if we can." Wonderful. As we begin to walk, you all move groggily. You know, you're all awake, but still, you've been dead for 50 fucking years, so you're very groggy. And as you walk, and he opens up the door to allow you guys to walk out into the hallway to begin moving in. The last thing he kind of says before we see the back shot of like him opening the door and everyone leaves as he shuts the door and the lights of the tomb die down. He goes, "Maybe doing this one will make up for how you got killed by that vampire lord, huh?" And he shuts the door.
What?
Yeah, literally like, huh? But you all move as eventually moving not very far from the hallway where you guys were interred. to what looks like an armory and a storage area with mannequins with suits of armor and weapons, all of your kits put together in one place, so that upon your revival you can go back to them. They even have your names on like little plaques on them, so you kind of know like what you're looking at and what they're there for. So with that, we can go around and everyone can kind of explain what their character looks like in like their full gear. So like, you know, like you're all strapped up, you've got the heat, you've got all the toys.
You've got the heat.
Yeah, heat bar. Well, let's go around and see. Well, I guess
Mac looks over, sees his, walks over, and he like tears his pants away, like they tear away. Even though he doesn't care about anyone else's space. He's like, yeah, enjoy the show. Just reaches out, and all that he's got on his is like a very small like wrap that becomes shorts. He goes around a belt and then like arm straps, and because he's got like hooves, doesn't have shoes or anything, so it's almost nothing. And then like just a small bag with some bits and pieces. He just sort of hangs off this. So essentially he's wearing just like very loosely fitted shorts, like short shorts, and like almost like a wrestling belt, like a prize belt, with a few little things hanging off of it.
it's just got BAMF,
I
badass
just
motherfucker.
imagine like someone going like, all your worldly possessions are in here, and everyone's like looking through the piles. They should go, cool, awesome, and then you just hear, wow. As like Mac just pulled out one pair of pants, puts them on. I'm me again.
Mac never wears a shirt.
Respect.
There is indeed a bowl of baby oil.
In one of the bags, he pulls out the oil.
No.
Okay, let's move on from this. Let's move on from this.
For Ostara stuff, she's a pretty standard clothing, little cape, has shield, quarterstaff, takes out a small like hunting knife looking thing, looks a bit scary and just kind of pops that away. But over all of her clothing, equipment, there's just little spots of like spores or mushrooms or fungi, bits of lichen on any wood components that just kind of litter all over her. And as she's getting back into her element and feeling herself and awake again, it's just little bits of spores in the air around her, and it looks harmless. You think it's harmless, but it kind of reflects in the light, like kind of like glitter.
Don't touch that one. She's moldy.
Don't speak to her like that.
Oh, pretty great. She'll see the things I can do with it. Oh, going to find out it's wonderful.
What about Lelianna? What's it look like for her?
Lelianna is she's a tall lady. She comes in at 6'2". She's a big girl.
Why do I always perceive Lelianna as like 5 feet?
Everyone always does. It used to
best
happen back
little
then and stuff
attitude.
too. Yeah. And she kind of like shuffles over, and then she like looks around. She's like, oh, back at it again, I guess. And then she opens up the chest and just pulls out this fucking big heavy plate armor and like starts ripping it on, and then pulls out this big mace that she drops on the ground, and you hear like a thunk as it like just lands upright. And she starts like wrapping her like banner around and pulling on the plate for her shoes and whatnot. And then she starts to like move the chest plate because it's sitting uncomfortable, and she feels a chain and she starts to pull at it, and then pulls it up, and she pulls it out, and she pauses for a moment as a little wedding ring sits on the chain, and she looks at it and looks inside, and the inscription says, Lelianna, my devil. And all she turns around and goes, I'm married! I have a husband! Where the fuck is he?
Probably still alive.
Surely your magic book says something about that.
She like puts it on. It's a perfect fit.
Finnegan's like, fuck, it's like dating her all over again.
Just like a
I'm so nervous.
Yeah, Finnegan just starts, looks through his stuff.
What do I
And
have to
then-
roll to shove them into each other so they just
No, he finally finds his wedding ring. His clothes are going. Is still in his normal shit because it's just like fucking crazy. And he finally finds it, and he goes, "This will tell you who your husband is."
And she looks on the inscription and it says, "To Finnegan, my angel. This is a joke. You're very handsome." Because if we were married, then I would be punching and my ego could never.
According to my journal, your ego very well did.
You're my husband? Who are you? And she gently places it back in Finnegan's hands.
He's like,
You must be nice. I married you.
there's tears in his eyes. He hands you the journal, and on the journal,
Oh, like reading.
it is inscribed with F and L, and then Finnegan's last name. I do not have it. Don't come for me. I couldn't be fucked.
Finnegan Winnigan.
Yeah.
Finnegan, I couldn't be fucked.
And as Finnegan
The man's
is starting to
Clearly
get
could
ready,
be fucked.
he just, that will tell you everything.
And Lelianna's gonna, whilst everybody's getting ready, she'll flick through the journal and reacquaint herself with her husband.
There you go. The one non-Texan tiefling. Goddamn! Alrighty.
As Finnegan's getting his clothes on, he also pulls out a lot of heavy armor.
Yeah. Like they're both getting ready for the day, their own dress on the opposite sides of the room.
Well, one of us is gonna have to change.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, underneath his armor, he's got a padded white long sleeve, and he's just got a big silver chest plate over the top of that where his cloak clicks on, and it's got straps as well that hold his dual swords on the back too. Very plain, just black pants, and then just like the leather straps that go from the hip where the belt sits down to his boots, where he'll have little things just hanging off them, like bottles of potion and like just little knickknacks here and there. And then it's just big plated boots that he's got. He's quite tan, of like in between tan and kind of like a dark
Complexion.
Yeah, he's been in the sun. Let's
Leather.
call him a beach bum. He goes surfing.
He's got that
surf boy.
He's got that
the shell
blonde.
necklace.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
got that blonde hair. Yeah, he if you went to Australia and you just looked at the beach, you'd see Finnegans everywhere.
Finnegan this, Finnegan that, bro. Finnegan's me. Whatever tomorrow brings.
Stop that this instant.
Finnegan,
But,
the Australian king.
Yeah, Australian Ken, very handsome young lad he is. Just a little bit taller than Lelianna, but when she's got heels on, he's like, "Mummy." Sorry.
Uppies.
Uppies.
Uppies. Alright, you fucking heathen.
Correct way to describe Vasco. Sheds off the miscellaneous white material that somehow appeared on his body. On goes a breastplate. Over the top goes like a sleeveless halter neck. I don't know how else to describe it. Got a short sword, got a dagger, popping them all away. All these other miscellaneous items like a short bow, there's some arrows, there's another dagger, there's some carpenter tools for some reason. Just little bits of everything. And then a cape goes on and you can't see any of it.
Vasco is the guy from Sinbad that just unloads like 40 weapons on the table and they're like, "We're going now." He's like,
We're already finished, Vasco. He's like,
"Oh,
But
love
right at
that."
the end, he's looking at his empty little locker and then the name tag. Tries to pry it off to take it with him.
I mean, you can make a sleight of handshake to see if it'll work.
Let's give it a crack.
It's gonna be stupid high though because it's like bolted into stone. Like it's
Where there's a will, there's a way. Sleight of hand.
yeah.
Yeah, alright. He's
Maybe he'll use one of the 5 crowbars we picked up way back when.
He's still got 2.
He also owns land.
Yeah, he's got a whole. That's got like the whole house.
Does a 27 succeed?
Yeah, that'll do it. So with a... and it comes off, and you now have a plate version of your name in gold.
Vasco! Oh, I just felt like scolding you then.
He's trying to attach it. He looks at your locker, then looks at you, then looks at your locker. Lelianna, can you help me?
Do it.
No, you stole. That's wrong. But also, it's cooking.
Thanks. It's like that awkward moment where he goes to say, like, mum, and he's all like, nah, fuck off.
He's a little bit of a shithead.
Lordy. So, you've all, you're kitted out, everyone's got their toys, and eventually Theos walks back into the room, and he goes, wonderful, okay, follow me. And he chuckles as he walks with you and leads you guys towards, I believe he mentioned it a bit earlier, but he says he was going to take you to an auditorium. But you're walking through, and all these marble halls, you pass by several other members of the Undying League, but not the same as you. So there are healers, diviners, and you hear the names vaguely in passing because the name of the job is the title before someone says, think very Warhammer where it's an Inquisitor something something. What these guys are called, they're called Requisitors. So Requisitors are the agents who locate and return the corpses of fallen League members if there are indeed corpses to be brought back. And it absolutely is basically just a tax-free write-off way to not have to spend as much money on actual true resurrection components. They're like, oh, we can get the body, we can cheat the system. So Requisitors were born into that to try and maintain numbers on site. And eventually you guys move and find the antechamber doors down another hall. You all approach as your steps fill the almost soundless building, which is quite eerie. Large darkened wooden doors with black iron handles shaped into like wisps of smoke. And Theos opens the doors and leads you all into this small waiting room, an antechamber before the main auditorium. And there are benches to sit there and rest, and golden candle sconces lighting the walls with a soft glow. And the small antechamber holds one piece of artwork with a title on the bottom, which just says the original 5, the Undying League, like 1. And the names are as follows. Don't worry about writing them down because I can send them to you guys afterwards so you can transcribe them later. But you've got Boros, the Earth Splitter, who is a barbarian. Elquin, the Word Weaver, who is a female elven bard. Starlight, the Defender, who presented as a non-binary Aasimar paladin. Aramis, the Studied, who is a male elven wizard. And then Theandel, the Bloody, a male elven fighter. And their names, kind of, the way they're painted in this portrait, like, it's almost like skipping through tarot cards, and every picture is like so uniquely different, but you know they're all intrinsically linked to the same thing. So like Boros the Earth Splitter is like this Goliath barbarian with like this axe, and it's like he's literally like shattering like a mountain in half. And Elquin the Word Weaver is like they've painted like she's surrounded with wisps of smoke. And the Aasimar paladin Starlight literally looks like Mercy from Overwatch, like coming down from like heaven with like the hand outstretched, like the theory of creation, that fucking painting, whatever it was called. And then obviously the Elven Wizard and the fighter, Aramis and Thandel, they're back to back. And Aramis is like really proper and he looks really neat and he's got his book and his glasses and he's doing magic. But then Theandel the Bloody is like, looks like a fucking deranged madman. Like he's got 2 short swords that he holds reverse grip, and like the whole back half of his body is clean, but everything in front of him looks like he's just taken a chainsaw or something. Like he was like, it's... oh, pretty handsome, good looking. What the fuck is that?
Finnegan's like, that's it.
Yeah, that's the dream. But it's it really paints a picture to like what the league started to what it is now. And Theos will smile at this painting as eventually he opens the doors and leads you guys into the main auditorium. The auditorium almost displays itself like one of those old medical classrooms where it's like the descending way and there's like a big circle bit in the middle, almost wrapping around that singular area where there's like, you know, officials and high-ranking politics and stuff would be. But in course of this current iteration, there's only the 5 of you. The others are either still asleep or have long since fulfilled their oaths and no longer are called to service. They never tell you about how every time you come back, you leave a bit of yourself there. Some of the strongest warriors who were sworn to the minimum 200 years of service died on many assignments, and every time they were brought back, they were less than themselves, having to relearn and retrain. So for you guys, this place is familiar, but it's still different enough that leaves you uncomfortable, as you're still finding your balance. You're still figuring out how your body feels and works in this current iteration of your lifespan. Fails ushers you guys into like the closest inner circle, so you basically can sit down and be comfortable, but you're not like stupid far up in the end that he has to yell for you guys to hear him. And he walks close to you, and he goes, "Now this friend of mine, Rayandel, he is a headmaster of a church of the Queen of Corvus in Unerashroud. He's calling in a favor that we promised to him many moons ago. He was a brother once. He served with us for his minimum 200 years. He was quite young. But we called him family. And, of course, I came in towards the end of his tenure. I was much younger, but we were close. So I intend to pay this debt the best I can." He turns to another door and yells out, and he goes, "Mishka, you can come in." And from the opposing side, a door swings open, and this tall, lean, beautiful half-orc woman in like long, flowing, dark blue robes enters the chamber, dark brown hair, and like a multitude of lovely braids that are tied back into like a ponytail. So like there's different designs of each one, and they all drape it back, almost like a stacked curtain kind of thing. And he goes, "This is Mishka, and she's our new staff sorcerer for our league, and she came in while you were all asleep," kind of with the air quotes. "Mishka will teleport you as soon as we have word from Rayandel, hopefully within a few hours, I believe." And he looks, and she nods, and she goes, "I've already had the diviners scout the landing zone, sir, and I will be able to land them directly outside the city limits. So, gives them a bit of cover to walk in and not be just bamfing right in the middle of a street full of crowded people, and hopefully we don't have a repeat of last time." And he goes, "Yes, last time." Everyone can make an inside check if they like.
Oh, that's not it. Oh, perfect. Oh, damn!
19.
I got an 11.
27.
21. 9.
No, 9. Those who got 18 and over realize that him and Mishka kind of look at each other and share a moment. So seemingly something went wrong with a teleport at some point. But that's a fun one for another time. So he looks at you all and goes, "I guess while we wait, please take time to talk amongst yourselves. Try to reinvigorate your memories. I'll be back soon. I'm going to go back and reconvene with Rayandel again, and hopefully we can get you on your merry way." And eventually he leaves, but Mishka stays. So they kind of leave the room to you guys to communicate more, basically try and work over anything as far as your memories. You can ask Mishka questions pertaining to the league, previous memories, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of a bit of a moment I'm throwing you guys to like try and have some fun about what you want to try and relearn in your brains. But I'll turn that to you guys, basically like a minute or two before you have to worry about getting on.
Immediately, Vasco is in front of her. He's all like, "Hey, down here." He said he knows me, he knows my name. How does he know me?
To Mishka.
Yep. Pointing directly at Finnegan.
Mishka looks to you, and then looks to looks to Finnegan, and then looks to Lelianna, and goes, "Oh, right, you're the married couple. Right, okay. So, what's a nice way to say this to a deranged little man?
Why?
You-
I knew it.
The shade being thrown in this sunless room is crazy.
She's still reading the notebook. She's like reading like the passage on Vasco going, oh, this motherfucker is...
It's all from Finnegan's perspective.
It's just like scribbled on a page, little cunt, little cunt.
There's a moment where she looks and goes, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. In most iterations where you met your demise, you were generally the first to go. You tend to have a big mouth.
Oh, that's right. You got your head stoved in by a master vampire.
Flash cut to some. So the silhouette is blacked out. It triggers a memory response for you. So you can't remember the face of the dude that killed you, but you just remember this like long taloned hand holding you, but like under like your jawbone. And there's a moment where it's just the moment where he has you by the face, like any last words, and you kind of like just spit a tooth out, and it just goes. So he holds his hand up like this and then just jabs it through your forehead, and then you snap back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity.
Do I know them too?
Cut to Mac. He's just eating like an energy bar. Where are we?
My boy, this is the Undying League. Oh, to be fair, that would make sense for you. I don't think you've died as much, but you seem to get punched in the head a lot.
I try to avoid it.
The Undying League. We are a paramilitary organization. We technically hold no allegiance to any government or political body. We're glorified mercenaries. Let's be honest. Currently, Velikronos pays us the most on the retainer, but when you come here, you have to take a minimum oath of a 200-year service. We can call your body back anytime before then, and we can resurrect you with or without your corpse. But it's generally a little bit easier if the corpse is here. Thus the Requisitors. You all are on the tail end of your tenure. Probably not you two as much, but I think if you do us this favor, we can probably grant some leniency with oaths. We tend to be a little bit lenient if you do a good enough job, but they weren't too happy with the last one. That vampire lord caused a bit of strife, and not to sound brutish, but he kind of fucked you up.
Yes, it says here that there was another 3. There was like a little goblin and an earth genasi and another half elf. All dead though. All very, very dead. Very, very dead.
They unfortunately were either too smart or too stupid to not take the oath.
Yes. Well, sucks to be us.
Or
But
them.
at least we're together.
Mac will lean in to the sorcerer's eye. Who am I?
Roll a history check with disadvantage.
Oh, with disadvantage? 5 plus 0.
5.
Yeah.
You think about the question leaves your lips, and you think about it for a moment. Everyone on the outside can see a very bulbous vein pop out of his forehead as he thinks really hard. As far as you're concerned, you're immortal.
Yeah. That's what's running through his head.
But she looks to you and goes, if I remember correctly reading your file...
Am I a god?
Absolutely not.
Well,
However...
look at this.
Shush you. But she goes, I think, if I remember this story correctly, you kind of just waltzed in one day, barged the doors open, and said you wanted a job. And you've been here ever since.
Makes sense. Pulls out another energy bar.
Bruh, where are you getting them from?
I was thinking the same thing. Where did you pull those from?
And can I have one, please?
Reaches into like, it's a little sack on his pocket, but like reaches like half an arm in, pulls out a handful of energy bars, and holds them out.
That'll do. That'll do.
think one of
Yeah, I'm cool at brooding too. Look at these muscles.
I think you'll find just the way you are.
Thank you, my love.
Anyway, continue.
Anyone else have any questions or anything they wanted to add?
I think while there, I feel like she's been here in this position more frequently than probably the rest of the party, and just kind of like getting a feel for a second that question, and it's just sitting there like half listening and just like druid crafting all the different spores and fungi and mushrooms that she knows. Like, yes, I know this one. I know this one. Oh, this was a good one. Puts it in a bag, just like. Do you know my, have you read my file?
I'm pretty sure we're gods.
I think we might be.
Sorry.
No, it was so quick. Guys.
That was
It
so
caught
fucking
me- It caught me
quick.
off guard. She looks at it and she goes, "You came to us. You weren't alone. Someone was with you, but that someone didn't join. There wasn't a lot, and we knew that you were a traveler of some sort, and you had kind of been, for lack of a better term, on a sabbatical, kind of just traveling the world. But you came here with somebody, and that someone was here when you woke up the first time, and maybe the second, if I remember correctly. But
There was another.
He was. I believe you two were romantically involved.
Pauses crafting. Really?
Yes, he was here the first resurrection, and he was here the second. Granted, between A and B, that was about 10 years.
Oh, then.
But then for your sake, by the fourth and fifth, he stopped coming. But unfortunately, without him being in the league, we don't know where he is.
So do that. It's like had a pleasant smile since she woke up and slowly felt in all the happiness sort of drained from the face and got deadly focused on what they were saying. And at the end, it's like, yeah, fuck it, he's not here anymore. He starts crafting things again. A little smile comes back and he's just back at it.
Your attention diverts away, and for a moment, like Misty just goes, like she was fucking really frightened for a second. But you guys communicate and share. Like Finnegan and Lelianna are like comparing journal notes and all this sort of stuff, and it's like you're filtering what you've written in there about Vasco and painting him out to be like more of a shithead. And then it's like this weird amusement. Mac just eats about 14 fucking muesli bars. And Ostara ends up like, you just like craft like a whole little display of moss and fungus on the top of the banister in the thing.
It's all ordered scientifically in like different families and species. Yeah, it's a full map. And she's like, yes, this is it. Pulls out a little notepad and starts writing notes to make sure she remembers all the science stuff.
Theos returns, and he actually gives you guys all. He says you'll have 2 days. So basically, you get 2 days to recuperate and prepare, and eventually, when you locate this Ryan Dell character, he'll tell you what your mission statement is. He gives you a what seems to be crudely but drawn well enough of the most direct path to this church from the entrance of the city that supposedly you guys will be dropped into. There's my dog. And which will be the front main gate, according to what he's written on the city. And he makes a point to say, this place can be bad. Do not deviate from the path. This city, from what I've heard, eats people alive. Yeah.
We're gonna fight an eating city.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Yes, mate. That's exactly what we're going to do. Pats you on the shoulder. It looks to everyone, and of all the people that he's looking towards, he leans over and will hand Lelianna the map. I'll wait for Skye to come back before she gets that fun little bit of dialogue. But yeah, you guys basically are given 2 days free reign of the Undying League's halls, where there's access to a mess hall. You guys can drink coffee, tea. You can drink to your heart's content. All your meals are prepared for you. It is just a large marble and stone intricate building with like golden trim everywhere, and all the halls are just filled with like clerics and diviners and like these requisitors who seem to hold like, they definitely look like clerics, like the clerics and paladins, all that sort of stuff. Like they have this weird like semi-holy garb to them, but they're fucking just beefed out. Like these dudes are packing mad armor. Like they all, like for mechanically, you know, they all have heavy armor proficiencies. Like these guys are absolute tanks for a reason. You know they're bad. Before Theos looks towards the rest of the party and decides that you're the most trustworthy, so he hands you the hand-drawn map.
Oh, okay. I can't read. No, I'm joking.
I can't read. That's what I feel like Finnegan would have done when he first opened the book.
-1 intelligence, yes.
Oh, he's dumb. Oh, he's hot, but he's dumb.
Gym bros.
Yeah.
We've got to get those lights up, Russ.
In those 2 days
No.
we're waiting, I imagine we've
also
found a
have
spot
mine as
with
well.
some weights and
Sure.
It's you just going into the you're like, where can I find heavy
Dumb
stuff?
bros.
You know, where can I find heavy stuff? And one of like the requisitors points down, and there's like a basement level, and there's just like spare cinder blocks.
Yeah,
So you basically just get like a chisel
Mine's
and
a
drill a
vape,
hole
though.
through them and turn them into barbells.
Just
Ridiculous.
slightly stupid.
But the 2 days will pass, and no real reason is really given as to why to wait 2 days. Maybe just because it's not necessary to know, or perhaps there's some technical involvement that you guys are not being told for safety of information. Mishka walks back into the auditorium with you guys 2 days later, and she wastes no time. When you guys walk in, she puts her hands together, and then her eyes glow bright blue as she raises her hand, and in the air, it looks like her finger is drawing and cutting out segments of like the reality itself, and runes begin to appear, like she's physically slicing the air between you all, and a circle will glow out of the ground and appear and starts twisting and spinning, and you realize as the lights like crescendoing to this like release of energy from her fingertips begin to glow with hidden inlaid runic tattoos that go all up her forearms as she like pulls the magic of this spell like out of the air. And she starts like maniacally laughing as like this like whirling vortex of like teleportation stuff is like flying around you. And she goes, this is going to be a bit bumpy. And she claps her hands, and you're all pulled from the auditorium, and almost within an instant you feel your feet land very hardly on the on a stone cobblestone street. Like instantly you've gone from like that polished marble to like a bumpy, uneven, just not very nice texture to be on. And
Lelianna absolutely eats shit. 100%.
I mean, yeah, you basically land, and like you're like kind of
She folds like a lawn chair.
steely, heeled boots just don't find the grip, and you just
Heel, absolutely
buckle.
not.
Oh, she doesn't do the heels?
No, no.
Oh, she's boot. Oh, so you just suck extra hard,
Yeah.
and you just eat shit on the way down. So everyone lands and kind of goes, whoa, and like does a bit of a shake, and Lelianna, you just fucking eat pavement. Like that's all you can taste now is just rocks.
Finnegan, please. She like holds out her hand.
Just lifts her up off the ground.
No wonder you guys die so much.
Yeah, we're gods. We're never gonna die. Ain't that the truth?
You've probably died the most out of all of us.
Prove it.
I would see it. You're pretty tiny.
Oh no.
Vasco died. Vasco died first. Vasco died second. Oh no, wait, there was a clone of you that died first. Vasco died first. Should I continue? There's about perhaps another 2/3 of this book.
If you want to know the description, I can read that out. It was very funny.
Can I just... It's just like... Better Finnegan. Moldy Lelianna. Yeah, alright.
There's I think in the moment where Liliana's like fully just like rocking your fucking world with how often you died, you start to like feel phantom pains like all over your body. And it's like, maybe she was right. But you guys are having this like full-blown argument in the middle of the street, and then you just hear like the sound of heavy breathing, and you turn around and it's just this like decrepit old fucking farmer with a rickety ass fucking cart and like a donkey that's definitely well past its prime, just like
Pushes everyone behind. Apologies, my sir, and then allows him to move forward.
tips the hat and begins to walk, leaving. He's walking away. So when you see this long, like miles-long stone bridge, like when you look over the edge, you realize this thing is fucking hundreds of fucking like feet off the ground. And you look over the edge, you're like, God damn! And you follow the stone bridge back, and all your eyes are reverted to your eyes scan, and you see it. These gigantic walls of this city that you're meant to be going into. Spires reach into the sky like spikes, tall skyscrapers with adorned lights of people living and existing and working within the walls of this city. For the life of you, again, you guys have been around for a while. You have some semblance of understanding of the world around it and the other countries and stuff. But with years and years of death and resurrection, that information escapes you. So you try really hard to go back, and you can't remember because Fails told you where you were going, but he didn't tell you the city, as far as what I'm aware. I don't think he said the city name. And you're like, I think it starts with an H, but there's also another one that starts with a P, maybe?
Hunnenfrace. Hunnenfrace.
That's what you blurt out. Yeah.
Check the map.
Bless you.
She'll pull out the map and have a look to see where they are situated on there.
Yeah, that's the name. It's directly named. So where you guys are currently on the stone bridge, which leads into the main front gate entrance, and it's scribbled in the slight corner. It says Hunnenfrace, which is where you are, or where you're going, which is Queen of Corvus church located in by golly, I don't have the document. I've forgotten where it is. I think it's Miros, right? Because that's where Goss is.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. That beautiful dragon man. But that's where you guys are currently. Maybe like another 5 minutes of walking, you'll be in the city gates proper. But you seem to have found out exactly where you need to be. Your dear Lelianna racking her memory and figuring out the name. But I put it to you now. How do you guys want to approach this? You know where you have to go, but I turn the reins over to you.
I don't mean to be assumptuous, but you look quite intuitive. I'm really bad with directions. I don't know how I ended up with this map. And you see her kind of like trying to put it in your hands.
Oh, it's easy. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not the brightest tool in the shed, but we can work it out together. Come on this way.
Max sort of walks between the two of you and grabs the map. Alright!
Oh, don't tear it!
Immediately up, scaling his back to read it.
Let's be honest, right? On the record, Mac has the demon back. His back is so
You can
cut.
climb it. Like,
I can rock climb this shit.
You
Let's
can
go.
freehand climb this man's back. But yes, you are absolutely able to sit up there like you're riding a fucking Harley.
Aside from looking at it with the campus rose and like gauging where we are, just be like, come on, we go this way, and just points in the right direction, but pretends that she has no idea where she's going. That way, let's go.
Yep, that way.
This
Onward to hand and face. Hand.
Hunnenfrace?
Hunnenfrace. Let's go into the city.
Who just snorted? I didn't see it, but I heard it.
Let's go into the city.
Everyone, take inspiration. That was so much fun. That was so good. That warmed my soul.
I'm gonna say that's not came out of Finnegan.
Yeah, that was in character.
Yeah.
Hand in face. Holy hell.
Walking is just way like I like your pronunciation better.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Everything has to fucking rhyme here.
Sorry.
Actually read this.
That's okay. We get this together.
Stop leaning forward, I'll fall.
Just grab the horns.
I think like Lelianna and Finnegan would be trailing behind, just having quiet conversation with each other and catching up.
Absolutely. Feel free to cut in at any point with any conversational bits you feel like would be stimulated by the city. Walking through, you can determine that it's by the diffuse light of the moons in the sky. It's roughly about 7 p.m, give or take. Maybe a little bit later, but the time discrepancy is also, you're a bit wigged out due to the fact that you know you're in another country. So, you know that much at least. This city is gigantic. Like, it's probably bigger than Thessendras, like, more, like, definitely. And as you move through the city streets, even at this time of the evening, in comparison to, like, from the vague bits of recollection you guys can pull from your distorted memories, there's a lot of people in the streets comparatively to a normal evening in the many lands that you guys have been to. You see causeways that are built below street level where you can see, funny enough, many carriages on this particular evening, like more than what you think you would see on a normal evening. Some of them are pretty modest, while others are like insanely fancy, like all the filigree and the pretty hand-carved details, and some of them are just a bit more, box standard cut. And you realize some of these carriages, they have living horses, but they're being driven by, them, they're automatons, but you don't remember, have automatons always been this popular? As far as you guys remember, automatons were kind of like a newer thing, like they weren't as ingrained into society as much. So yeah, it kind of throws you guys through a loop a little bit.
I told you they'd take over.
They must be in war. That's the only time the automatons were ever used. Have they put us in a war? Is that why they've sent us here?
All I know is the robots are taking over.
You're no help.
The robots. The robots.
She bends over the notepad and just bonks him on the back of the head.
It's like one of those cats, like.
You just steal a newspaper out of some dude's head.
Yeah.
Hey, I was reading that. But as you continue to move, you definitely as you guys are walking on the upper streets, you see little tiny dudes, little pills that are floating in the air with little mops and sweepers and stuff, and they're doing just mundane chores around the city streets.
Honey, they have taken over. They're doing everything. They're everywhere.
I was gonna say sexist joke then, but I won't.
And being carried.
The wives! The wives are out of business.
Finnegan was a pig at some point in his life.
He was.
Don't come for us, it's all in jest.
As soon as Finnegan says that, you just see the shadow coming over Lelianna's face as she's just staring at him.
I meant the maids.
That's what I thought you said.
Continuing.
Continuing.
Oh.
I'm just standing back.
Yeah, come on, move faster. We don't want to get in the way of female wrath.
As you go deeper into the nervous system of the city, following this map, you can't help but notice small things that make you feel very uneasy. People like humanoids and other humanoid races passed out in alleyways. You see some of them rummaging through trash and dumpsters behind larger buildings and alleyways. At one point, you see a gentleman down a small vial of this purpley ready liquid and enters some sort of euphoric state, and then physically he drops on the floor and starts convulsing over the table. This man is having a induced seizure. Something bad is happening. Whether you respond to that or you simply stay on task, I leave that entirely up to you, because helping people has kind of fucked you in the past.
I want to steal the flask.
I mean, you can.
Yep.
You don't even need to roll for it. You walk up to this guy, his eyes are rolled back in his head, and he's starting to both bleed and foam at the mouth. And he's his clothes are ragged, looks messed up, and he sees you, and he acknowledges that he can see you, but he can't do anything about it because his body and mind physically will not let him.
He just kind of takes it and he walks it back to the group.
Vasco, don't just steal, help him! And then Lelianna will go over and help him.
Okay. You quickly rush down into this alleyway as he's kind of like slumped, like he's fallen hard, like he's slumped, like his head's all cocked up between a wall and the floor, and the convulsions are so bad that it actually puts you into a state of anxiety, like because you've never seen anything like this before. I'm going to allow you to make a medicine check, if you'd like, to try and determine what's happened to this guy. For Lelianna to attempt to what happened to this guy. And if you roll high enough, you'll be able to know how to fix it.
That's a 19.
With a 19, whatever he's drank is obviously some sort of mixed substance that was either he's had too much of it, or his body was just not made to handle it. It'll say you grab the flask off Vasco, and
that was given to Ostara.
Oh, sorry. So you take it off Ostara. I could even say you definitely know, like you have like spores and stuff and like fungus that are reactionary to like components and chemicals and stuff. So you basically just go and pop it into this bowl and give it a shake, and you wait for it, and it comes back this like dirty distilled black, which for you know is like it's magical but it's bad. It's bad. And I'm going to say with a 19 medicine check, this guy, he might live, but the only way you're going to fix him is if he gets a greater restoration, because what's going through him is currently like eating his body away from the inside.
I don't have greater restoration, but...
I love a bargain.
Can she wait until he's right on the precipice of carking it and then cast Spare the Dying?
I mean...
and just ping pong him.
I mean, yeah, you absolutely can do that. So...
It doesn't heal him, it'll just stabilize him.
Fair enough.
To help with that, Lay on Hands also allows to cure disease or neutralize poison effects. Can I help?
I'll allow it. So, in this moment where you guys are coming to terms with a city that you've never been to before, and seeing whatever the fuck is happening to this guy, you do the thing where it's like you've got him like you're on your knees and you've got his head up, but you're trying to tip his head to the side so you can clear his airway, and like at some point you actually have to get in there and like clear his airway out, and he's choking, he's scrambling, his face is going fucking blue, to the point where you're like, I can't fix this because I don't know what this is. I have a cheat to fix it, but I need to speed this along. And at some point, you just like, do I speed it up or do I just let him fucking suffer? And I'll turn the question to you. Would you, in this moment, try to speed up the process to stop it quicker, or would you just let it happen?
Yeah, you see her set her up and she just wraps an arm around his throat and puts her head on top of the head and just starts squeezing, and her bicep, like underneath the armor, just like tightens. And then she feels his pulse in between her arm, and then as soon as it... And then she puts her hand to his head and casts Spare the Dying, and then lets his neck go.
Right. As a Spare the Dying leaves your hands, that's where you can like get your Lay on Hands in, and a bit of the color comes back to his face. Like his veins are still like protruding, like it's really bad, like it's coagulated like in his actual like bloodstream, but he is alive and he is breathing. You lay him down on his side and kind of like tuck him away and put like a rag over him or something you can find in the alleyway. It's the most you can do for this guy at this point in time. But you have another job that you need to do.
Yeah.
And you guys are able to, if there's anything else you'd like to do before you move, but
they go to all this effort.
They just pan around and Max just standing there like, what the fuck? Did you just choke him back to life?
I know, right?
Finnegan's just like, I'm into it.
It's not how I normally do it. My hands were... I'm not of the faculty that I used to be. Once upon a time, I could have fixed this easily, and then I made a boo-boo, and now I'm not as good at it, so I have to be a little bit mean about it.
All I know is that when I choke people, they don't look better after.
Well,
maybe not doing it hard enough.
No, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Don't we have a church to get to, and no choking people out? I have
We'll see.
magical biceps that
There is an
That
ingrained
piqued
image.
Mac's interest.
Mac right now is walking on a tightrope with Vasco and Lelianna on each side of the stick, and he's just tilting ever so
and then
slightly.
Finnegan's in the middle doing sign language, like fucking.
Mac just starts to walk away and picks up Vasco and puts back his shoulder. Magic biceps.
It's the crunk with the good and the evil. It's like, no, he has a point.
No. He has a
I have that. And he pulls out like
Not the special kind.
If we mix this with that other stuff.
No.
oh my god. We lose back
Immediate
to
no.
like fucking riff glass
We'll
like in
figure this
5
out.
seconds
It's the Anguish Agoo thing all over again.
Yeah.
It's come back to bite me in the ass. Jesus. Okay.
Stop licking the damn thing.
So the whole time this conversation's going on, it's just like looking at the vial and doing the stills, and then looking at the boy like it's going, and just like touching this man, looking him over, and doing a full medical examination. There's a few mushrooms start popping up in the alley, and she's getting aside, just like,
Maybe.
seen this before.
Maybe. It's mushroom protein that gives her magical.
Grabs a mushroom and eats it.
Oh,
Make a Constitution saving throw.
strawberry
Yes!
fields.
That 20.
Nothing
For
is
his own-
real.
Con?
Go on. I just want to hear the number.
24.
Yeah, that's nice. So you taste. So everyone who sees Mac just goes. And the whole, it's like when you give dogs a veggie and they just spit the whole thing out without one chewing it. That's what happens. He puts it in his mouth and begins to chew it and
Reaches
spits
his
it out
bag
in one
and pulls
piece.
out some jerky. Starts
The
chewing
one
on
that he
that
picked
instead.
up was just a normal round top mushroom that is totally edible. It's one you buy from a supermarket.
He's just a fussy lad.
He's just a fussy boy. But you leave this gentleman in the alleyway after coming face to face with something you've never seen before. But following the map, you make it to a large stone building with a small. So very. For you, it triggers an emotional response. It's not even like a memory. Like this one's a real deep emotional response. It is a classical grey stone in comparison to like the tan stone buildings of like the rest of the city. It's a grey stone, gothic, classic architecture, but instead of like that big circular like Notre Dame kind of glass, it's a huge stone relief of a raven skull. And there's a small stone courtyard with so it's walled in and the gates are open, and as you guys begin to move in, the small entry courtyard is overly abundant with these these purple and white speckled flowers that seem to have been left to grow rampant. You can see where the vines are
Mix some
starting.
mushrooms in with them.
Oh,
Orange peel fungus starts appearing.
Just a couple. I feel like with the purple ones, you pick like the really harsh opposite colors that are like kind of pretty. So you pick like fluoro orange, like something with
Orange
a bit of
peel
green in
fungus.
it. Yeah, and it's beautiful and vibrant. But you know that some fucking cleric's gonna walk out and be like, "My God, it's spreading." You walk up to this church, and it is let me just change that over. Is that coming through? I think it is. Is it doing the city thing? I can't tell. Leaning forward like the headphones aren't going to block it. Let's go back to the music. Okay. You move in and push open these large wooden doors, and you are moved into this large chamber of this church. Pews lining up and down the front to the back. You see the halls are obviously a lot of, like, the temple itself is quite large, so obviously there's like a mess hall, and it's multiple storied, so there's obviously rooms and stuff upstairs. But at the you see this long darkened black rug that leads down the stone, and the first thing that catches your eyes is this giant black onyx carved statue of the Queen of Corvus, the matron of ravens, the Raven Queen, whatever iteration or name that comes to you from lands beyond or
Mom.
memories. Ma'am. For you, when you see the statue, something just settles in your brain, and for a moment, all that noise in your head, like, kind of just quietens down for a moment. And Lelianna, I believe, is also a servant of the Queen of Corvus. I think you're a bit more of a tricky one. I know you're an absolute chaos goblin. So what would Leliana's going from the emotional response of seeing the church to going in and seeing the statue, what would her response be? Like, what would happen to her? Would physically, would the rest of the party see anything? Because you had a bit of not that you remember, but you knew that
Yeah.
something bad happened leading up to you serving her. So
She would be a little bit in awe. It's been a while since, I mean, she's ever stepped into a church, let alone, this is probably the first time she's, that nearly launched, that she stepped into one of her very newly acquired faith, and she almost kind of waddles down to the front and immediately drops to her knees and goes into a deep bow on the ground and basically starts, thank you for taking me in, thank you so much for taking me on, and starts thanking her, and will quietly do a prayer whilst they're there.
Lovely. Everyone moves in as the fully armored muscle mummy barges through and rushes up to the front to do her prayers.
It's mine idol!
Mine idol. Mine. When you all move in, you realize, like, you kind of just, like, open the door and, like, you all just, like, walk in and be like, okay, we're here now, like, for someone to be waiting for us. All the, like, acolytes and stuff, like, turn and, like, acknowledge you guys walking in, but then they kind of just go about their own business. And as you guys perceive more of the church, you see from the ceiling, there's, like, hundreds upon hundreds, maybe even close to thousands of, like, origami, little wooden cutouts, like, little art pieces of, like, ravens that seemingly made by, like, they could be made by some of the woodworkers of the church, they could be made by some of the children of other clergy members, but it seems anything in reverence of the Queen of Corvus, they seem to take great love for it and great passion for it. And eventually, as you're all kind of, like, sitting there waiting, an escort walks up. Not an escort, a fucking...
We know what you meant.
Not a prostitute. An
Matt's
acolyte
really
walks up.
disappointed that it's not a prostitute.
He's a
Walks
very
up.
simple man.
Start serving my queen, and then maybe she will provide.
Indoctrination through whoring.
It's the way to get back.
This acolyte approaches you. Young elven man, like short cloth hair on the top, black hair, very fair skin. And he goes, they're expecting you. Headmaster is expecting you. Follow me, please, as he kind of looks around this fucking obscene group of people. Like, you three kind of look normal. He's like, armor, swords, mace. Not trying to draw. Looks up at you and just like,
There's a light shining through some cracks in the
It's a
wall.
really good daylight.
just one singular bead of sweat on his forehead, and then looks
One just lands on the hammer.
yeah, then on your and then looks to you and is like, oh, she kind of looks normal, and he's going, and like a whole thing of fungus grows out of your hand. He goes, never mind, and then begins to move on. You move up a large spiral staircase, and the acolyte knocks on the door, and then you hear from over side of the door someone say, enter. When you move in, it's a single cot, a cabinet full of artifacts and trinkets, armor on a mannequin, some short swords, as well as a large crystal on a black iron stand in the middle of the desk. You turn around and see old, yeah, I'm going to use the term young old by elven standards. Like, his face betrays that he couldn't be in human years. He probably wouldn't be much older than 40, maybe going into 50, but like, it's been quite well to him, but definitely half elven. His ears aren't as long, but still handsome, like good looking, like still has an angled chin, a little bit of stubble on his face, spiky hair, but like two long braids that like battle braids, like very Star Wars Padawan style, that like go down to like his belt line. He's just wearing a white blouse with like black trousers, black leather boots, and he sees you all and instantly like greets you guys with like a warm smile, like he's seen like family members you haven't seen in a couple of months, and he just goes, welcome, comrades of the League, I assume. Yes,
You must be Mr. Reindeer?
Ryanville.
Right.
It's reindeer, just keep going.
It's okay, comrade. I see your skills lie elsewhere. Come, please, sit. That'll be all. And he sends the acolyte away. He gathers a bunch of seats and stools for you guys to sit on, and then or things that you can sit on for you. He kind of just like pops you on like a footrest. Mac has to sit on like an actual chest, like because the chairs probably couldn't handle it, and you guys are all able to like sit. I think at one point you have to sit on the bed because like there's not enough seats.
He goes to complain about being picked up, but then he has another look at his face and... If you were 1 point less charisma, I'd be mad.
And he sits you down on the thing.
Crisscross applesauce on the floor. Little fairy ring.
Yeah. Is she okay? Like, does she need to be stimulated of the mind to pay attention, or will she just tune in when she wants to?
Okay, look at how cute it is.
We
Ooh, I'm
have no
listening.
idea.
You worry about her and Max with what?
Okay, boys, it's on you. I need your help. Welcome to Unerashroud, ladies and gentlemen. As he turns to like kind of stand over his desk. In case your return has been a bit bumpy, we are in the city of Hanenfleiss, one of 2 sister cities. I know that Theos gave you word of a favor that I'm calling in, and I'm here to tell you that this favor runs a little bit deeper into what we're trying to stop here. And he like kind of walks around, like rubs his face a little bit. Like you can tell, like even though he's you know, like he presents himself as very handsome, very put together. You can tell he's fucking tired. He's tired, like even for an elf, you know what I mean? Like half elves like trancing every 4 hours, but this man looks like he's been awake for like well over a day. Like he's just been powering through stuff. There is I guess the only word I can use for it in common is an epidemic in this city. I don't know what the current landscape of Volikonos or Thessendras is like, but there is an organization in this city that seems to benefit of dragging people into the void until they suffocate in it. There is a concoction, a drug, some sort of mixture that they like to call astral. This substance that can be ingested. It sends them into some state of euphoria, but very quickly people become addicted to it.
Lelianna will like look to like Ostara with like a knowing look after she took the vial, like, oh my god, that's it.
If it doesn't kill you physically, it will kill you emotionally, mentally, and magically if you're not careful. Now there is, as I said, an organization in the city that fronts this product and gets it into the streets. They are making a profit on the misery and suffering of others. This organization is known as the Sunken Sect. Subsidiary criminal underbelly. We believe that they are only meant to be here. We don't know if they've gone to any of the other countries yet, but it is a thing that happens nonetheless. They are in the pockets of other criminals. Seems town's guard knights seem to be on the payroll. We don't know how deep it's gotten and how bad it's going to be. But that is what you are here for. He pulls out a small piece of parchment, a folded piece of parchment, and slides it across his desk. That is a location on how to get to a place called the Drain. It is a pub of some sort in a neighborhood known as Trader's Bay, deep in the shadow corners, not really seen by the eyes of the government. Inside this venue, you can gain access by speaking a phrase written on the paperwork on how to get in and eliminate that problem. These people are merciless. They are paid money to dispose of bodies. They cover the tracks of these people that are doing terrible things. I need you to go in there and finish it. Go in there, burn it, destroy it from the inside out. I don't care what you do, but it needs to be done. Da?
Yes, Father.
Any questions?
What are we expecting under there?
What was the question, sorry?
What are we expecting under there?
According to a reluctant but good source, they are individuals that are good at getting rid of bodies and evidence, but they're not fighters. However, it also states that there are people always nearby that will come and defend them. After all, they are a lucrative business. I have no real information about who they can pull and summon to defend them, but all I know is this organization, they are tough cookies, and they will break you if you do not break them first.
While this conversation is happening, Vasco kind of approaches and is like, can I see that map from before?
Yes.
And he's comparing the map to the note and the location, and he's trying to pinpoint the fastest way to get there, essentially. Outside of that, he hasn't really said much.
I think with the rough drawn map, you can definitely determine a faster route. It's gonna be like a 2-hour walk, so at that point it'll be like 9 p.m. at night. But you're just gonna be crossing a lot of, I say, open territory, meaning it's super direct, but it's like back alleys and sneaky stuff. It kind of leaves you with a little bit of a sense of unease about like, I don't know how risky this is going to be, but it's going to be the quickest way to do it. You can absolutely do that. Were there any other questions or anything from the rest of the party as we sit here and take in this information?
I think Finnegan will go up and just stand on the other side of his desk and just... Is there anything else that I worked 4 hours today. I can't be fluctuating. What's the word for the person that gave the information?
Your
Informant?
source feed.
Source.
Yeah.
What else is there any other information or anything that your source has given that could be handy for us? Like,
yes, there's of inside this small contingency of people who are, believe it or not, they're called the cleaners. Disgusting. There is a turtle folk. Seems to be some sort of chemicals kind of person. There is an earth ganassi man and a elven woman who apparently is strapped to the teeth with knives and medical equipment. Now, I don't believe that they are actual warriors. They're just very good at that one particular thing, so I think you'd be fine. This is where it gets difficult. You could do by destroying the infrastructure, yes. But I think all of us here in Collected know that the operation doesn't stop when the building gets shut down, if you catch my drift.
So you want us to do a massacre?
In the matter.
And they are bad people.
The worst. I can share with you what's going on here. There we go. Sorry, give me a moment. It's just started making a heinous noise and it won't stop. Good boy. He looks at you and goes, this friend, these people took and hid the body of someone very important to her. And the circumstances surrounding that abduction, for lack of a better term, were shady to say the least. Now, our fellow brother of this institution gave me more information about what happens in the guts of this place. And this beast needs to be gutted effectively. I understand it's probably not what you want to hear.
Well, if Becky demands it.
Who?
Becky, that's... You said her name was Becky.
It's definitely Becky.
Becky. Our queen. Queen Becky. She's always after Blue.
Want some fuck?
He comes over to you and not in like a condescending way, but very politely picks your hands up, looks to you, a vein pops out his forehead. He just goes, "You and I will have a very long chat should you survive this." Yeah?
Of course, anything for you, Father.
Not my name. Okay.
Is it like a priest, isn't he? Right?
He is, but he goes by the term of headmaster.
Oh,
Father
headmaster.
is dependent on the country.
Oh, okay. Then she would have said headmaster. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, different character, different ball game.
Yeah.
Matt's like, is he your dad?
Leading into Matt. I think we are the smart ones in this group.
It's
Obviously.
Becky and Rondale.
Becky's a pretty good name for a god.
Looking at the map, the place that we're going to, does it look like it's around like residential areas or other infrastructure?
I was gonna say, if you want to put that question to Ryan Dell to answer that, he goes, now the unfortunate circumstance about the way our city is built is every single area in the city is civilian infrastructure. We have businesses and sectors and districts dedicated to particular things, but there's a lot of people in the city and they need places to live. The only place where you won't find any businesses is actually in the middle, which is called Zoloto, which is the garden. Only people with a lot of money can live there. But all the other districts, like the lore sector, which is where a lot of the universities and the local council works, that's residential. Traders Bay is residential. Stop that. There is a new district going up, but they don't know what it's going to be. There's a multitude of things. But basically, expect people everywhere. Now, luckily for you, there is a gala on tonight, which will keep a lot of the high-ranking people distracted. So hopefully the response time will be a little bit not good. Yeah. So you'll be able to get in, get up to that mischief that we love so much, and get out. Yeah? Any other questions?
Any remains that we find down there, should we return them here too?
We cannot house them all, boy. And there's nothing we can do for them. We don't know what faith they belong to. I think it's better just to leave sleeping dogs lie than begin dissuading spirits. Nasty little buggers, those spirits.
We can give them rights at the end, once we've cleared up shop.
Sounds good.
So yeah, he points to the map that you were copying down. He goes, "That's your location. Quickest route possible. Heads down. Move quickly. You'll be fine." Wonderful. Now, once the job is done, if you fly back here, we can house you here until we get the mage to send you back.
I can't fly.
Then run really, really quickly.
I'm gonna do that.
You can't. The rest of us can. We all brought our wings. Did you not bring yours?
This is all I have.
So you forgot your wings?
I have wings. So starts trying to look on wings.
Fucking holy hell. Oh my dear God.
Lelianna can slowly feel her shit stirring, quipping coming back.
There it is.
Mac's gonna fall for all of it.
But if you don't have any more questions or anything to ask the headmaster, you can begin to move on your way towards this venue. I'll actually say, this is going to sound silly, but who's got the highest charisma?
15.
17.
He kind of sees the way you carry yourself and leads you in, kind of pulls you in and goes, now this is not me saying I do not trust the capability of your team here, but you seem to carry yourself a particular way.
In the background, Lelianna.
I'm sure she's lovely.
What did you flick in my hair?
This venue, to get access to the sublayer where these fiends are located,
You need to
You
talk
need-
your way through it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You basically just need to allude to needing to get the mess cleaned up. And the bartenders will let you in.
Okay.
So if you do that, you'll be fine.
I got such a vivid image of Mac just walking straight up to the can and going, I've shit myself.
It's running down my leg, man. It's real messy in
It could happen.
Oh,
He's doing the sticky leg.
Why is he shaking his leg like that? He's pulling his cock out. He's pulling his cock out. Oh God. That, you know what? That's just canon in my head now. That's just what happened. I'm gonna write it that way afterwards. It was like Max said he shit himself. But he fuse you in on that bit of information and kind of leaves that to share to your content as the rest of you are guided out down the staircase. And you are left in the main hall of the church to prep and do whatever you need to do to get yourself ready for what you're about to do. So I'll turn it over to you guys if there's any, like, for lack of a better term, pre-game rituals that the party are gonna do. Kick ons before drinking.
Mac pulls out a pre-workout.
Oh my god, he's fucking wide when we get in there. You got eyes the size of dinner plates like, where's your clean stuff? Gee, where's your clean stuff, huh?
He's got that like tingle in his lips for a better element.
He just like picks up two patrons just like bicep curling them.
Of particular note, Vasco approaches the statue, but you can see him, he's pulling shit out of his pockets, but he's not finding what he's looking for.
Mhm.
But he circles back to a particular item, and it's an opossum skull. And he's confused because he doesn't understand where it's come from.
Probably a possum.
Logan!
My boy!
He's dead! You didn't conscript him to the Undying League?
Finnegan just takes moment, just in the corner, absolutely having a massive mental
He stuck
breakdown.
his fingers in it. What do you mean?
Like
And he
Scar from the Lion
sets
King.
it down. I couldn't find any blue. This is the only thing I could think of. And he sets it down as a little tribute to his queen, and he's all like... And then he goes,
Oh, good idea. Lelianna will undo her braid and she'll like grab like a half up, half down and just cut her like sea green hair off, and she'll wrap it around and place it kind of like around Lorcan's thing and then plait what's left. And she goes back to her half bob with a plait on the back.
Hell yeah.
Mac watches this happening, pulls out one of his muesli bars and just puts it there as he walks by.
Oh,
He doesn't know what he's doing, but he's just like, is this a thing?
It's just like Vasco and Lelianna in the background like, yeah, that's some good shit, bro.
You
"Welcome
like
to our
Krabby
fate."
Patties, don't you, Squidward? What about Ostara? Would she do anything while she's in there? Being a druid and kind of in tune to that sort of stuff.
I think I see everyone else put stuff on their things. She feels left out. Like, oh. Mushroom, fungi, mushroom. No, this isn't right. Flower. That seems a bit nicer. Okay.
What flower do you pick?
That's a really good question. What flower should she pick?
I don't know, my lord.
Oh, I think seeing all the ones outside on the way in, just like thinking about it's like, that's a really cool colour scheme. That is really death vibes, isn't it? This makes a little
Galaxy
galaxy
Petunia.
petunia. Something like, I'm sure some people are like that.
These flowers are invading everything! It's an invasive
There's
species!
the groundsman of the thing. He's just like,
Some poor
Go
person-
inside!
He's gonna walk past like, holy fuck! And he's just going to probably just take a minute and just sort of just think, just get in tune with herself, really connect with where she is. Because I mean, it's been a day, it's been a couple days, but like, you've been dead for 50 years. It takes a minute. And as she's sitting there, the spores just sort of slowly emanate out, and not like super far, but it's just like a little circle around her, and it looks like dust when the light shines through it.
Oh, like dust motes, yeah.
Yeah, just. Well, I remember my spells. We going?
You can see Vasco, he's like, through the spores.
Lelianna's like, here, let me get that for you.
An arcane dustbuster.
so we've had the arcane Roomba.
Yeah, you see this wizard guy going, let me get that for you. But you guys all leave and move into the steps of like the courtyard of the church, and looking down at the map, the air is cold and chilly. Might be rain on the horizon, not quite sure. It definitely rained pretty hard, like a couple of days beforehand, because you can see where there's like now like greening stagnant water in like the cobblestones of the streets, and you guys move on, moving into the northern district of Traders Bay, marked on your map. So when you're moving, it because nearly every building here is residential, right? So if there's not small, there's like, it's like one of the many skyscrapers in like Brisbane City, where there's huge skyscrapers that some people can rent out floors for businesses, some people rent them to live in or own them, and then there's like small businesses at the bottom, plus the foyers into whatever buildings they are. But there's fucking hundreds, thousands of them. Like 90% of this city is skyscrapers and multi-story buildings. Every now and again, you'll see small lots of land where there's like Tudor houses and like some shacks and stuff that are built in where people have just, you know, it's like going into Brisbane and seeing like that one old house between two mansions because they've not gone with the flow and changed anything. So it's like they just stand out, and you know that they're like old designs that people have left there for fucking like 100 years, 200 years, and it's just stayed that way. But you guys continue to move on through this city, and again, being shocked and awed, and then berated by the many influx of sounds, the sights of people, like the smells. Like when you're walking and you're seeing the bottom, the lower paths, you can see where like the carriages are slowly beginning to die down, but they're heading in basically the opposite direction of you guys as you begin to leave. And you keep moving through, and as you get closer to this Traders Bay, the noise of the normal city begins to fade away to the sound of this is a sound that is just ingrained in like your deepest memories of like childhood and stuff. These are like smithies and like woodworkers. Like these are workshop sounds. You know, this is like, oh, this is what working sounds like. That's what that is. And you guys begin to move it, and eventually, Traders Bay like opens up into like you go through like an arch. That's the word I can think of what it is. Like a themed arch. It's like made of like machined parts and copper and stuff. And you guys move in, and all of a sudden you're met with like the sounds of steel mills, hammers, anvils, even this late at night. Like it's crazy. You can see some buildings are cut a bit lower into the stone, and they have smoke plumes that are going up, and but they're fucking skyrocketing into the air. The way the buildings are designed, it's just real peculiar. But you guys are moving through, and even now, like by this point, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. It's nighttime. There is just a cacophony of like just working, like all the smaller businesses, like clothing shops, magical component shops, all that sort of stuff. They're all
through
shut.
the opening credits of Peaky Blinders, basically.
Yes, literally that. Thank you, sir. The smash cut, but it's
Red
right hand. I love Peaky Blinders so much. But you continue to move through, and eventually you happen upon this huge pub next to this very big, like it's it's not abandoned per se, but it's definitely in disrepute. So there's this pub on the left-hand side of this street, and on the right-hand side of this weird T intersection, there's this huge building with like ladders and barrels. It seems like there might be some work being done to this building, but seemingly right now it's deserted or in the process of being renovated. You see like there's like a telescope on the top as well, where like it seems like surveying stuff. So like they're like checking the area around for like infrastructure shit. But this pub is Tudor style, so it's not a skyscraper. It's like a very old school kind of pub. Dirty, very dingy. But the sound of like light music kind of drunkenly being played inside is emanating from the doors, and there's lights on. You can hear the sounds of people inside, and you can see the symbol is like a circle with like water droplets falling in, and it just says the drain on it. I don't remember if I actually said that in the original, but there we are. It is the drain. You have found the venue which you seek. What do we want to do?
Matt just starts heading in.
He's got him by the belt trying
Unless
to
someone
stop
stops him, he's just going to go in.
You feel the slightest tug on your hip, like, I'm just not strong enough. You keep walking. But anyone else? What's anyone else going to do?
Finnegan will go in and he will just head straight to the bar.
Okay.
It's not a race. It's not a race, Mac.
Anyone else? Any other different approaches to entering, or are we all just going to move in as a unit for our...
I'm gonna probably stick pretty close to Mac. Just
Help me stop him!
I just pick you up under my arm.
He's still trying.
Come on, little man.
Before Lelianna goes in, she's going to have a quick look outside, just sort of scope out any sort of emergency exit she might need, might like just have a quick walk around to the side, just kind of scoping out the layout, seeing if there's any also particular people that are hanging around the area that seem to have like settled in, like, you know, people that might be like watching the outside of the drain.
Right, got ya. Okay, make a perception check, please. Come on, cleric.
She's not very perceptive. Oh, never mind.
You might luck out.
That is 22.
There you go. She's not really perceptive. That's over a 20.
I said that and then I scrolled up and it was all like +8 and I was like, never mind.
I'm the fucking best. You, I just stand up there, my back's hurting, I'm sorry. You scope out and there's a lot of people to and fro. There's civvies. There's a lot of civvies around here. Like, this is, even though you know, you're like, I've gone to a shit part of the neighborhood. There's a lot of fucking people. So now you're like, that might be a problem if something goes wrong. Yeah. Which, with the current track record of everything else that's happened, probably is going to be very likely, especially with how bad it seems to be here. So you take stock of that, and you're like, fuck, civilians, okay. You do notice there's a couple of guys kind of sitting out the front. There's a whole stack of, so there's the door here, and on the left-hand side of the door, which would be the right for you, there's a huge stack of barrels. You're not sure if they're empty or full, but you see two guys out there, seem to be like some sort of bartenders or landlords, like with their waistcoats like kind of untied at the top, but around their waist still. And they're both having a cigarette, just like, and they're like having a conversation with each other. So you can see that they're kind of not really care. They take notice of you guys as you begin to move, but it doesn't seem that they care about who comes in, because obviously there's a multitude of people that come in. So you've got that going for you right now. Yeah. As far as lookouts, no, there's definitely still some locals that are like stumbling in and out. So you would get the idea that anyone that's in this venue is probably someone that could go and tell somebody else if shit gets rocky. So you have to be aware of that. But with the fact that there's so many civilians around, it might impede that process. Yeah. You probably got to be more careful about who works in there than who's actually in there. I would get that.
Doors or anything like that we can see?
Not from what you can see. However, I'll say from where you are on the street, you can see that on the kind of like hidden away like around the side of the corner, there's a huge stack of garbage. Like, and not garbage that makes sense. It's garbage that makes no sense for a bar. It's steel and metal and like iron and copper, like metal, like huge. And I'm talking like, if this thing collapsed on Vasco, it would fucking kill him. Like, that's like how big it is. It makes no sense that it's there, but you definitely see it.
Okay. After taking note of that, she will then follow in after the party.
Okay. Mac, you were the first one going through the door. As you move through, it's a floor to frame to frame door, but it swings, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got almost like a perfect seal, but it's just free floating. And as you go to push your arm through, the door actually swings out and claps your hand on the way back, and you're met face to face for the first time that someone that's actually taller than you. It's a very, very tall, tan skin, beautiful in the face, bleach white hair. Is this an Asima, like a proto angel, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious when you see them, like Asima, unless they like really try to hide it. It's quite obvious that there are Asima. They're like humans and Goliaths, but like bigger. But obviously not as big as Goliaths, but you get my point. And her eyes are you've seen it. I would say this would be something like you've triggered it before, because you've been in so many Biffons that, like, even though your memory's been PlayStation 1 memory card hard wiped 100 times, when people suffer really bad damages to the eyes, they get like that milky sheen over their eyes, right? Where like the colour just goes and the eyes just fucked up. She has that going on until you notice and you realise that all the white in her eyes is swirling. So it's like an active smoke.
She's taller than me and coming out the door.
Yep.
Mac drops Vasco and pushes him back and leans up against the door.
Oh, fuck me.
What do you want to...
And she opens the door and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
"Oh, you're nothing to be sorry for." "And you are." He does the full, like, the lean against the door and try and, like...
Don't sigh. That's how you bagged me.
So you go, "And you are," as you like lean on the door frame. And you find, so she's very tall, and you can tell she's big, but she's wearing like a long draping cloak that like kind of covers her body. So her bleach white hair flows out, and her like smoking eyes.
Mac loves anyone that can make him feel small.
Oh, God. He's got a size thing for this show. So the question we said to her was, "You are?" Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And you are. She smiles a little bit and just goes, "Not even in the same league of game as you."
Come on.
She's best for the other team. Fucking punching on with this
Please.
guy.
I enjoyed this interaction, but please excuse me as she begins to step around.
Did.
And as she
still popping the pecs.
Like. She steps around.
Picks up Vasco. I'll get that later. You'll see.
No, she said no.
Can I get you two to make perception checks for me, please? Because you two are more the spelly kind. So
23.
Jesus Christ. Perception.
14.
Okay. With a 14, I'd say you definitely see. You notice that as she's walking away and she steps to the side, like her cloak flares a little bit, and there's a moment where her hand is like, she's beginning to cock. She's basically cocking the slide and putting her hand in the chamber. She was getting ready to have a spell on the burn ready to go if Mac didn't get the fuck out of her way. That's what you see. What you notice is when she does it, she pulls her hand away from her belt and it looks like blood, but you're not sure. It gets pulled from a vial and put into her hand, and then when he finally gets out of the way, she puts it back in and she begins to walk off and disappears into the night. Because that won't come back and hurt anybody. We'll see what happens.
Probably like standing like next to Ostara, sort of, as like we step to the side and let her out. As she's kind of looking, she kind of mumbles on her bed. Blood magic.
Is it blood?
Not sure, but it was definitely blood. I think she was using as a component. She was about to cast. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that cast.
Yeah, she was using blood as a component, though.
I haven't seen blood before.
Neither have I.
Oh, so if you're using magic to resist me, that makes sense.
Oh.
As he walks into the pub.
Can you put a
He's screaming and she doesn't swing your way.
She doesn't like the abs. But you guys move into the bar. Now, this bar is... It's so dingy roadhouse southern. I cannot begin to explain. All along the top of the walls. All on the edge of the walls. There's like skulls of like deer, alligators, weird animals, like an owlbear and stuff.
I see like a deer that has similar antlers to me. Kind of have this like puppy dog eyes.
Aren't you glad you didn't hit on that woman properly now?
What did I do wrong?
Is Mac basically just Bambi?
Yeah.
If he discovered protein shakes and steroids.
Bulk Bambi.
Bonk Bambi. Bonkby. And there's a multitude of like... there's tables, but they're all different shapes and sizes. So there seem a lot of...
Eclectic, we love it.
It is very eclectic. All the seats don't match. The heights are all different. The stars there. You see behind the bar at this current point in time is a Hadozi, like a simian folk, behind the bar, who is putting bottles away, like cleaning glasses and stuff, and kind of like gives you guys a tip of the hat as you walk in. There's a bard in the corner playing a lyre, which is a very very southern style of like riff. But yeah, I put it to you. What do you guys want to do? And there's a multitude of people in the bar. Like you see some, and like people not dissimilar to you. Like you see like one dude with like a warhammer on the ground. And you see some guy in like full black human man, full black plate, but he has his helmet off and he's a bit grizzled in the face. There's an eclectic group of people in this building. But I'll put it to you, absolute heathens.
How many?
What do you want to do?
How many people are in the bar? Just patrons?
Maybe like 8 or 9.
Before Finnegan like goes to approach the bar and do his job, Lelianna kind of like does the good old wifey hand down, good old smack on the ass. Go get him, Tiger. That's your job. Go on, go sing sweet nothings to the bartender.
He was gonna walk in all confidently, and then that happens, and his face is red, and he's
Do I
walking.
spot that? Yes, I slap you on the ass and do the same. Yeah, go on, you got this.
Oh fuck!
I was like, do I like this?
Oh no, the pervert.
Finnegan takes a breath and then turns around. I'm gonna need you two to stay more than a hand's length away. Please and thank you. Especially you, my friend.
hand, not an arm, so you're still in swinging range.
Looking back and forth between the two, just sort of vanishes backwards into the shadows. Batman's that shit. Like,
Lelianna also following him because she can't give her hands, so she's also like with Mac.
You guys kind of find a table. Stop that. Stop it! I'm sorry for anyone that has to listen to this annoying noise. We figured out what it is, and we can't fix it as well as we hoped.
and if we do manage to remove most of it, we're sorry that Cody's just yelling "stop that" at you.
Yeah, you're wondering what that is.
Stop not subscribing. Stop not hitting the like button.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that, my friend. Return
Comment,
this
like,
table
and
and slap
subscribe. See you in the next video.
Someone's gonna
Make sure to ring that bell so you don't miss.
I'll fucking reach across this table. I'll reach across this table and I'll fucking ring your bell, homeboy.
I'm gonna put little like pop-ups of like and subscribe.
If I go back and listen to any audio and I just hear the bing everyone uses, I'm gonna shoot every one of you.
Absolutely use it.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Don't perpetuate this behaviour.
Don't tell me what you don't want to see.
Anyway, you know what I want to see? I want to see you all die. So, our handsome, heartfelt herald, starting from Critical Role, thank you.
To that bar.
You walk out and you see the Hadozi gentleman turns around, looks at you and goes, "Evening, what can I do for you?"
We need help. We made a mess, man. You know, they're a bit clumsy. They can't keep their table clean.
Make a persuasion check with advantage on this one.
We far enough to hear.
You guys would probably hear a vague.
You
Bit
see
of that.
Mac just knock a glass over on the table.
Lelianna like quickly dives for it and tries to clean it up because that's not what he meant. That's not what he meant.
That's
Wearing the drink.
22.
22.
Puts Vasco on the ground.
You guys are just bullies.
His fate.
It's one of those things where it's like he's talking, he's turning around listening to you while he talks, and he goes, "We've made a bit of a mess and we need to clean up." He goes, Now when you say a mess, you mean a a mess, and it points to Vasco getting fucking manhandled, or a mess.
Mess.
I'll be back. And he very gracefully jumps over the counter, and then he goes, "Follow me."
And Finnegan just does the one finger with his arm up, does that. Knows that Lelianna will know exactly what that means.
Dragging Vasco, dripping in like glass
By the
shards
ankle?
and drink. Yeah.
He's throwing a tantrum about this curled finger bullshit. That you fucking, since when was I the pet?
Release on with Max, make sure he
At
comes
least
along
it
with,
wasn't
like,
the
reach
double
up.
click. I used that.
Like, you do it, you start playing back, and you start. Oh,
She's not short, but she's not that fucking tall.
Ostara, consequently, also getting dragged now.
No, but not by the same means. You guys all are ushered outside to this this T intersection with like around the back, and you realise he, for you, as you're following your husband and the rest of the party, he leads you to the scrap pile around the back side where there's all that metal and iron. And you see as he walks in, there's a plate, like a piece of like iron piece, and it's scratched in a way that it's like someone's purposely put the pattern there, but you're not quite sure what it is. And very quickly he taps like a weird progression of symbols, and all the metal like reverberates and very much like I think I said it the last time we did it, like the interdimensional gates from God of War when they use the rock to help them travel. They reconstitute and form a doorway which leads into a staircase down into a very seemingly deep sub-level of this building. And he turns to you, Finnegan, and goes, "You tell him what you need and you do all that, and then you can come back."
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And he walks off. And you guys are left to descend the stairs.
When he did the thing, was he covering it, or could we have had?
No, you could see it. I was actually, you know what? Make a perception. No. Would it be perception or investigation? What I think I'm going to put it to investigation because you're really trying to like hammer the code, like to your memory. So let's call it investigation.
That's not very nice.
It's not nice
It's a
at
natural
all.
1 to a 3.
Oh my
Nah.
God.
He just did it so quickly that he was like his dexterity is just through the roof. Like he's obviously done it 100 times. So by the time you notice, you're like, "He's doing something." Oh, I missed it. Yeah, it's gone. But yeah, unfortunately, you can't really get it. But that's okay. The
I was gonna ask the same
door.
question, but Mac wouldn't have cared.
Fucking big dummy. The door opens, and you guys, unless there's anything anyone wants to say or do, you descend the stairs.
Yeah, just throw Vasco down there.
You've got rings, remember?
No, he didn't.
No, that doesn't happen.
No, we don't.
Of this is going to come across comedic, but of serious note,
Great start.
Great stuff.
I actively, when we start to approach the next location that appears to have people in it, I want Vasco to very specifically hide. And there's just this itching feeling that he
Oh,
knows
here we
this
go.
one really reliable place he can always hide.
Here we go.
And he just disappears for a bit.
I'll get you to roll a stealth check, please.
I remember
22.
you talking about this.
What?
now.
A 22.
On
I
a
have
nine?
a 13.
Bullshit. Show me. Bullshit. I'm fucking calling it. Show me this shit. Oh, wait, because you get expertise. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Oh, you
Yeah, eat shit and die.
slag. Fuck. Okay, so
Oh, no. Lelianna takes it like a champ.
Remember,
do I want to know what's happening?
we're on YouTube. Be very selectful with your words.
I haven't said anything incriminating
Look.
yet.
We've said
Be
shit
very
fucking cunt in this
selective
stream
in your
already,
words.
so
Can we get a counter down the side of all the bus as you
I don't
like-
have that much time.
No, you really don't.
Just real quick, just add a bing, 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 bing at each word that pops up. I don't want to ask. I'm afraid. Let's put this on the table. I am afraid. So I'm not
No,
going to
it's
ask.
nothing, it's
Stealth
nothing
was
too
so high
sensitive. It's
that
just
none
being
of us
big
saw.
brain.
Big
I'm
brain.
just hiding.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not Specifying where.
Now,
He disappeared.
Good.
That's all we know.
And we just said.
okay.
Oh, so are we gonna go hard and fast? Do we wanna go sneaky?
I mean,
You do
They
it pretty
might-
loud.
already know that we're here
That's
anyway.
true, that's true.
Hard and fast is how I do it best.
Keep it in your pants.
Where'd that come from?
Nowhere!
Your conscience.
You guys descend the stairs, and the let's go change this up a bit. Yeah, there we go. You guys are already stacking. Shut up.
This dark world Cody's made for us.
Lelianna starts making ratatouille. Mind your business.
Wow. Wow.
I'm going to take away your inspiration in a minute.
You can't do shit.
I have not
You're
said anything
uninspired.
incriminating.
Oh, there it is again.
I do not deserve the consequences to my non-existent actions.
There's nothing untoward happening. It was just a hat tip to an old joke. Nothing more.
Well, you know what? The hat tipped too far. No. Okay, I don't care. You're laughing at. Get it out now. Get it out now, motherfuckers. This is about to get
You're
real
gonna
bad.
be crying in a minute.
Yeah, I'm hoping. No, one's with love. The other one's going to be with pain.
No, Finnegan's crying with pain. He's been there, done that, and he knows what's going down.
Eventually, after a couple of minutes, you reach the bottom of the stairs. And you walk into a... It kind of doesn't look too dissimilar to the morgue where you guys woke up, the tombs. Stone, a couple of pillars, obviously like supporting the weight of the structure, blah, blah, blah. And there's doors on the walls that are kind of leading off to seemingly other rooms and all that sort of stuff. And there's a small hall down there as well. You see there's utensils spread everywhere. Like in one corner near one door, you see like one of those like hangman's locks and like just racks of like weapons, torture devices, like just not good stuff. A couple of stains that are out on the wall that seem to be either from someone's body and or head or both. There are stone slabs as well, which obviously it seems the bodies will be laid upon. A couple of empty like beakers and vials of some water, some blood, some bile, like stomach bile and all that sort of stuff. But they're all kind of alluding to what's behind the doors there. But when you walk in, you're instantly greeted as this woman turns around and like full elven woman, beautiful, very light pale, like almost tanned but not really skin. And she's got an adornment of medical tools like on an apron on a thing. But when she turns around, she is not clean. The back of her body is completely pristine. The front of her body looks like she has just walked away from a massacre. And like she's got these large gloves on. Her white blouse is stained with red. The apron's covered. All the tools in her belt. As you find, she's very quickly turning around and like pouring like cleaning solution on her tools into like some sort of like receptacle. And she goes, hello? Can I help you?
Mac will lean down to Ostara. She looks like that bloodied one in the painting.
I was just thinking that.
Right? Fenderel?
I don't think so.
Says it to her.
Oh, Thandel.
Fenderel?
Yeah, Thandel.
Like says the name to the elf chick?
No.
Or I thought it was someone else.
Me too.
My name's Opal. Can I help you? As she peels her gloves off, seeming but leaving the apron on.
Okay, Mac's gonna give a knowing look around the room. Like, what are we doing? Like,
What else is in the immediate vicinity? Are there other people working around as well?
I'm actually just like, make a perception check for me. Actually, you brought that up.
That is 21. 21.
21. You can hear people. Like there's definitely footsteps and some like soft chatter behind some of those doors. But just in the immediate, I guess, foyer, it's just her. But you know there's other people around.
Maybe, honey, ask them perhaps about how they do their cleaning services. Maybe if we can see what they're made of.
Well, you know how it works upstairs. Ask about cleaning services, specify which one. We're just asking, wanting to know how far your services go.
One eyebrow cocks up. I can't do it. Okay. You want to do that for me? Thank you. There it is. I can't do it. So, and she looks at you with this weird look in her eyes. And I'm gonna need you to make a persuasion check, please.
Please. That is a 14.
14. Let's roll. Okay.
Hands like by the mace.
She looks up and down and goes, yes, upstairs is a bit of a formality just to stop people from knocking on that front door. We tailor to everything depending on what you need gotten rid of and how quickly you need it getting rid of. Corpses, items, people that are not corpses but you want them to be. If you need them cut up and go into places separately, that's my specialty. I'm also a doctor. I was a doctor. I lost my medical license. There's a multitude of ways. Is there a particular problem you needed? Go?
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk to my friends and see which route we'd like to go.
Sure. And she takes a step back and just leans against the stone slab and just crosses her arm.
That sounds mortifying.
I wonder what she did for a medical license.
It's a mystery, I'm sure.
Bad bedside manner.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
When do we start hitting stuff?
Do we want to try and get further into the tunnels?
so do we want to get rid of the body? Perhaps?
I mean, so far it's just one, but there's probably many more beyond. So, we don't want to alert the many bodies ahead of time when we're only dealing with one body to begin with. Perhaps if we can get all the bodies together, if they can handle that. But, many bodies is a big job. They might not be able to handle it.
It also might not be within our budget either.
How do you deal with big jobs? This looks very small here.
You only see what we want you to see. At any one point, there can be about 7, 8 of us working.
I think we're going to have to dispose of the first body. It's starting to piss me off.
It would smell a bit after a while.
Let's make a fucking insight check.
So does Matt.
Can I get you guys? Can I get you guys to roll deception checks?
Perception.
Deception.
Oh god. Okay. Might not be all bad. 13.
That is 12.
I actually did know what's going on. Good job.
She sees
We're talking about
this
bonking her.
interaction. She sees this interaction, and at first she thinks it's like it just seems to be a lovers' quarrel. But the line that triggers a physical response is the first one starting to piss me off, and ever so faintly, just on the corner of your eye, you notice as she begins to step onto her right foot, left foot forward, and a hand reaches down behind her waist, and yeah, kind of just looking here.
Would Mac, being a fighter, be able to pick up on someone?
I need you to make an insight check to try and figure it out.
Would Ostara either?
Make insight checks.
Yeah,
Natural 19, 22. So yeah,
Can I
Max
insight
being
check this
a,
situation
like,
to
brawler,
see if I can
very
see
quickly
what
picks
she's
up
doing.
on somebody entering a fighting stance.
Yes.
Nice.
13.
13. You can tell the tension's got really high, but you're not sure where the conversation went south. So you're like, it's bad here.
Would I notice her like start reaching around?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
On a
cool.
13, you notice like the hands disappearing a little bit, and you realize the thing that draws the attention is the fact that all the tools are here. So what's here?
Yeah.
Matt clocking it. Oh, so you want to?
Yeah, you get ahead of it.
He's gonna just grab you on the shoulder. It's time to clean house and push between you and start charging at her.
Yeah.
And we'll have to roll initiative. There we go. Okay. Oh, where's my initiative? Can't track that.
Ooh.
What? How you fucking? Okay.
Yeah, nice.
You.
That's alright.
We're at 218 for a long time.
Yeah,
by the
there
way.
you go.
Yep,
yeah.
I'm watching that on here as
That's
well.
a good roll.
Fucking right.
Yeah, natural one.
Throw it in the bin.
I've got one of them's already rolled natural one. It's in timeout. The other ones are rolling like
Yeah,
single
Jay.
digits.
Jay.
25 to 20?
23.
21.
Oh god.
Mac's a big guy. It takes him a bit of momentum to get some speed up.
Yeah, it's like the Juggernaut. He's got to build some speed, and then he goes.
Yeah.
19 to 15.
18. Honey.
14 to 10. What'd you get?
Not a 14 or a 10.
9 to 5.
6.
7.
The service and devotion.
Watch out as well. With the two ones, they're both the same style.
Hey.
They
Equally
cancel
shit.
each other out
Okay.
because they're the
This
same.
stupid one.
So this one's just
one's
going to be a real quick theatre of the mind one, and it's crazy that we rushed into combat when we're probably about to cut it, but this will probably be, I feel like it's going to be very quick. So believe it or not, with the initiative kicking off, first is going to be Ostara with Vasco on there.
Yeah, get it.
So you see as Mac begins to, it's very much like Skye said, Mac takes a couple of seconds to like build up the momentum, so by the time that he starts
That'll
sprinting,
push you aside and you get down, like you're ready to charge in there.
Could you imagine she gets fucking blood out before Mac even gets to her?
I feel like there's a possibility. That seems to be the running gag with this
Yeah,
fucking table.
especially
What
with
do you
the
want to
rogue.
do?
Yes.
So looking at it, just sort of reconfigure some spores as kind of chuck them at her and cast hold person, so it's a wisdom save of 16.
Oh,
Otherwise,
I have
she'd
so
be
many other pretty
paralyzed,
things.
which might help. Heavy hitter. Hit him a bit harder.
That's a natural 6.
Yes.
That's what we love
It
to
just feels
hear.
the spores go into their body and it just starts kicking in, and it's rigor mortis.
Yeah, it's like a rigor mortis, girl. It's this instant moment where you don't waste any time. You just go, and she can't help but you like reflexively go, and it's like for you see it from like what the spores would
Yeah.
see. So you watch them like latch onto like her muscles and veins and just. And for everyone on the outside, all of her veins begin to bulge and start like going like black as like her body is seized up and she cannot move. But you realize she was in the
Damn.
process of pulling a rapier. That was like some sort of like collapsing sort of magical rapier off her belt. But she's fully stuck, so there's nothing else that can happen. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Assuming I'm not like super close, I'll probably stay where I am for movement, and I don't think
You'll probably be like
bonus
15
actions that
feet
I
away.
I don't think I have any bonus actions that I can do when I cast a spell. So other than that, I think we should be. Oh, actually, hold on, I think. No, it'll be alright.
Cool.
I'll leave it around.
Vasco, that's going to be you, homeboy.
Yep, so I'm going straight. Okay. So Vasco was hiding. You just see the flip up of Lelianna's skirts. As Vasco quite literally just lunges forward, short sword first. Straight for the
That's
face.
why Max, so far back, he just was going to charge. It's like,
Flying halfway.
Just having to do the Marilyn
coming out from under the dress.
Mac would absolutely be like, Lelianna, you were pregnant? Why didn't you say anything?
Congratulations!
It's a halfling!
Oh no, you had a Vasco.
What a disappointment, child.
Sees that it's a halfling. When are you going to tell Finnegan? Does he know he's not the father?
This conversation happens later.
Okay. Sorry, I just had to make sure. So, Because it's hold person, also advantage?
You get advantage anyway. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh, so now it's...
20.
Oh, yeah, no, 20... Fuck.
To a
me.
total of 30.
There you go. And then that's the first time I think anyone's ever hit 30 on stream for us. So that's pretty cool. So
Okay.
damage dice is all doubled. All of it.
All of it.
So your weapon, your sneak attack,
All the dice.
any smites you want to add on, I'm afraid.
Even fighting style bonus?
Additives from feats don't double, only dice roll the doubles.
Okay.
That's why I love playing Zeph.
Rogues fucking roll!
Sneak attack damage is so nice.
It just, as a DM, it just makes me moist, you know? Moister than an oyster.
Who's pulling his cock out?
Who's pulling his cock out?
Can I calculate, please?
Yeah.
Somebody help me. Thank you.
We've got the human calculator over here.
I fucking love numbers. It's the most ADHD autism thing you've ever said. I have autism.
Give me a chance, buddy.
I spent a whole night the other night helping a friend out with her business numbers. She's like, I just don't get it. I'm like, I love this shit.
That's a 67 for damage.
Fucking what?
A 67.
This Opal character was sitting pretty at 66 hit points. You want to kill this bitch
Straight
or
through
what?
the eye.
Yes.
Oh,
Out
man.
from under the skirt. Granted, the camera is panned very strategically that Vasco's head is in the way of seeing anything on the left.
Very creative, I like it.
Watching you YouTube.
Give me
And
some
it's
power.
just dagger first, straight for the eye, and it just not dagger but short sword, straight through.
Yeah, for sure. You lunge out with your light, like halfling prowess, your high dexterity, and you lunge up and have your hand on the blade, and you put your hand on the pommel and drive it through her eye, and you force her against like the sink, the slab where she was cleaning her tools, and so like she's bent over, but she can't move. She's stuck. And just for like, there's that split second where like her brain's still functioning, but it hasn't clued on that it's dead yet. And you kind of just go and just like give it an extra saw and like just push it in a little bit deeper, and the whole body eventually will just go limp as the spell wears off, and thus you have felled Opal the cleaner.
Mac takes a step forward and picks up. Fuck me, little man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, very
It's
accurate.
like approving nod and puts you back in.
There's a moment where those
Small
voices that you
Can use
heard,
well.
there's those voices that you heard off down the
I know
hallways
what to,
stop. It was a very quick succession of sound that has triggered some sort of response, and eventually the doors open up, and from one one seems to be a common, just a human man, common clothes, dressed kind of nicely, but weathered look on his face. Doesn't seem to be one of these cleaners, but he was definitely one of the voices in the room. And then out from behind him, this elderly, wrinkled turtle with a bunch of trinkets along their belt will walk out and look towards, and all they see is this forest folk man holding this halfling with a bloodied short sword over the now munted corpse of this very skilled street surgeon. Looks at the rest of the party who's just there accumulated, and the color in their face leaves, and he's like, oh no. And she begins to rush back into her office. What do you guys want to do?
Throw Vasco at her.
Roll a... We're going to make this a ranged attack roll.
A natural 20.
You lift up Vasco and throw him and repurpose him, and you have your arm forward. Whoa! And you fucking speedball special this halfling down the hallway. Sword forward. I will allow you to make an attack roll on for us we know it's Quartz, but the party don't know who this is. This turtle.
That's cocked.
That's cocked. That's right down the line. I
That's
know for a
25,
fact it's
yeah.
she has they have a AC of 18 because of like their shell and some of the garbs that they wear. But you lunge through and just go to stick your sword in their neck. Do you want to roll some damage for me? There won't be sneak attack on that one.
Sneak attack on this one.
That's I feel like Vasco whistles like one of those vortex balls.
Yeah.
Badminton shuttlecock.
Oh god, yeah.
Except it's black feathers. Becky. Uh, 14 damage. Max damage.
Man,
Wait, plus 2. 16, sorry.
the courts, even though being a turtle that is adorned in many trinkets and shell and clothing,
He's a
is
wizard.
still only a common folk.
Oh.
They have a particular set of skills, but that does not make them an adventurer. It does not make them a warrior. And you lunge forward, and very quickly, like the guy who was standing there in front of courts, like leans back for a moment as you just speedball special through the air. Same thing, hand on the hilt, stick it through the neck into where you know like the artery's gonna be, and very quickly this very elderly turtle just hits the ground, and within seconds just chokes on their blood and dies, and they're out. That gentleman begins to attempt to run out the door. Anyone
Past us?
past you guys, he'd have to.
Mac just pins him by the throat against.
I'm not even gonna make a roll for it. You just killed this guy. Like you would anything you do to him, but you basically just grab him and like crush his head, and like he's like against the wall. He's still alive, but whatever you want to do. But I defer to the party.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Let's fucking
Get out quick.
yeah. Let's run the place through. That was our job, to run the place through. Surely there's got to be more than this.
When you start powering through the building, there's there's about 7 offices, each line with like different desks, adornments, all that sort of stuff. But like what Opal said, at any point there can be 7 cleaners in the area, but they're not all in the office at the same time. However, this is the infrastructure where they run their business from. So anything you do here is going to cause considerable damage, and it will take them months, maybe even like a year or 2 to really get back on their feet. So at this point,
Mac's going to be looking for 3 things as they go around.
yes.
Food. Anything shiny. And anything that can be obviously flammable. So booze, explosives, anything.
When you run into the office of I would say everyone kind of like spreads out and starts like just kind of ransacking the place and trying to look for like flammable shit, destructive stuff. If there's anything particular you're looking for, just let me know and we can roll for it. But for you, when you go into the turtle's office, you very quickly see that this person is some sort of chemicals specialist. Like there's a lot of stuff in there, and you like pop away, you're like, whoa, with that back, you're like that's spicy, and you start going through, and eventually you find like oil lanterns and all that sort of stuff. So you can get some fire going for sure. Is there anything else?
We're burning this mother down.
I want Finnegan to take Vasco and tell him to sniff for money.
Money!
To ransack this entire place from any coin that they have, so then they basically have to struggle real hard to build this place back up. Any gold, any jewels, anything that could be sold to make profit.
Remotely of value.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll investigation check with advantage because Finnegan's going to give you the help action, I would dare say. What about Lelianna and Ostara? Did you guys have any game plans you wanted to enact while you're ransacking this establishment?
I want to steal all their chemicals.
You basically run into the turtle's office as well and be like,
Yeah, and while they kind of look around in any other rooms, adjoining things to see if anyone else is still hiding, like if someone's heard the kerfuffle and decided to try and sneak their way.
make an investigation check.
Okay.
16.
With a 16, you definitely are able to find some of the stashes on hand. I'm going to say, let me do some numbers here.
The bloody human missile.
Look for the pretties, my friend.
Find the gold. Find the shinies.
You're able to pull 28 pieces of platinum in total. You're able to pull 107 gold pieces. and you're able to pull 65 worth of jewels, and like just common denominators like silver and copper and stuff. What did you get for
16 for investigation.
With a 16 for investigation, you start noticing there's, I guess mechanically in D&D it's just called poison that you apply to daggers, but a lot of it is like there's paralysis agents. There's one that you sniff and you're like, and you spit it out, and it's a triggering, it's a respondent for like a whole person kind of thing, but except it begins to hurt the tip of your tongue, so you very quickly like spit it out. That seems to be something that they would inject into someone to cause their arteries to like become bulbous and like painful to like instigate some sort of torture.
Snake venom.
Snake venom, kind of, yeah, like really fucking bad, and it sucks that you're able to take that as well.
Did I find anyone hiding?
Anyone hiding? Let's roll a luck check. Let's just put this out in front of the table.
A 3.
3. I'm going to say with a 3, you find in one of the back corner offices as you're like kind of like pushing the doors open, or like you go to this M1 and it's locked, so you kind of just get Mac to like punch this door open. By this point, you also still got this guy like fully by the face. Like you've not let him go, so he's just like, ooh.
He's your new handbag now.
You
I'm
like
just dragging him around.
You punch this door open, and you find in the back corner is this Earth Ganazi gentleman with like a sleeveless vest, and you see that he's at this point in time, he's kind of, you see he's pulled like some sort of chain that goes like up to the ceiling, and he kind of postures up and just goes, all right then. And then kind of like you leaning through the door, he just goes, oh, fuck me. And he like puts his hands up. He, at the same point, is also really not that strong. So how about you just describe to the group how you fucking beat this man to death?
As soon as he puts his hands up,
just drops the other guy.
no, not even. Throws the other guy at him.
Oh, Alice.
And then just kind of, as he's distracted, just comes in with like, just beating the guy in the face.
Yeah, so you throw this guy like by very anime style, like by the face. His body just turns into like a ragdoll. He just goes. His voice is muffled for a split second. He's like, whoa! And then it like hits this dude again. He retains his footing because he rolled a 15 to like do a dex save. But as he like shoves this guy away, who's already like fucked up and bruised, you just come in with like these like 2 swift uppercuts and then just like one.
And then a headbutt with his horns.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Yes, and like anyone that would see it from the outside, like his face got scraped, like it looks so bad, and you fuck this dude up, and he's
And
basically
Matt comes
just
back, and there's that little bit of blood just running down the tops of the spikes on his.
Jesus.
But shakes it off. He's like,
yeah. You would know that chain is definitely some sort of like signal. So you guys are probably in for a doozy.
Matt pulls on it again.
Oh, yeah,
Tries to figure it out.
They're
Sorry.
sending in more. Get ready.
As you guys, you lay the oil out. I'm assuming you lay the oil out to like start a fire.
Not until I'm told.
Oh, okay.
Matt does what he's told.
Okay, Mac does what he's told.
Well, are we... So, in terms of, like, the space in the area we are in, if we start a fire, is there another way out, or...
Back up the stairs.
Back up the stairs?
Sorry, that one's just corked up really badly. You want to make a note of that time, because this one's bad. This is insane. Sorry, guys. It just stopped then. Okay. There we go.
Would be worth just waiting for everyone to come and killing them all.
I'm going to say,
Yeah.
you guys, I'm going to say 100%. If you stay in here and not in an open space, eventually it's just going to get very bad because there's going to be no room for you guys to move. It's decent enough you can move around, but it's bad.
I'm going to metagame a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Did we get told about where our main campaign went in the tunnels?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
No.
Okay.
Back up or further in?
Yeah, I mean, if there's further in, let's go further in.
Try and further
Well, the further, okay.
Okay.
Further in is offices, and then in the turtles room, there is another door which is locked, and it leads to. I would say Vasco is probably small enough. He can just like peek through the keyhole. You can see it just leads into like a really deep fucking tunnel that eventually just goes.
There's a locked door. Matt's breaking it open. That's the first
further
room.
in.
Make a straight check.
14.
No chance. There's a big metal door. No chance in hell. So you kind of hit it, and you're just like... Everyone else, he doesn't make a sound, but in your head, you're just like, ow.
This is stuck. There's no way any of us can ever open that.
I hate how stupid he is, but I love him so
Lelianna
much.
just rolls her eyes and then looks to Vasco.
Thieves' tools.
It's going to be high, but we'll see.
Is there a key on...
On the shelf?
Yeah.
Like, right next to it?
You look, and there's no traditional key. Lots of trinkets, like she kind of looks like a hag, like lots of glass bottles and little bones. At some point, you look at a bone and you know this. You're like, that's fully a pinky bone. Like that's.
Damn.
I respect it.
Is there any way to help Vasco in this, or just?
How do you help Vasco? How does the druid
Go,
help the rogue?
Vasco, go!
Well, I already
No,
helped him by
what?
loosening the door, obviously.
Bardic inspiration.
Hey.
I know you can do
What's the dice for your bardic?
Should be a D8
don't
or
ask me
whatnot.
that!
You've got to sting at him, right? That's how.
No.
Come on.
No.
Like
This is
One
it's
D8.
Brofist. Yeah.
1d8. It's a bro fist.
I imagine like Finnegan sings like Shark Boy, like dream, 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 dream.
Oh my
dream.
god.
And it's my proficiency bonus.
It'll already be added on D&D Beyond if you have a
inspiration.
proficiency.
I've already rolled it.
No, we have another inspiration.
you don't.
No, you have a
Yeah. I don't need it.
Oh.
Because I've also got expertise in it, so it's the same as my sleight of hand. Yes.
Yes. Well, it should be.
So then that's a 28.
So you jam this, like, you reach in and funny enough, you get one of the crowbars out of your bag and you look at it and you're like, this is a magical lock, but I can do it. And you just jam this crowbar in and at some point you're like yanking on it and you realize it can't go. So you look to Mac and Mac kind of like pushes down the bar and you hear the fucking like the break and the whole door goes and swings open. This fucking tunnel goes on forever. I know that you guys know what it is, but your party...
No idea.
Not to metagame, but wasn't the tunnel in like a more open cavern deeper down?
It leads
Where it
into
goes
one.
to.
There's a tunnel that you guys walked through to get to that cavern.
Ah.
How wide's the tunnel?
Maybe like 5 feet, 5 by 5. So it looks excavated to the point where like they've cut it, but eventually it just fades to blackness. You'd have to go in there, and someone with dark vision can probably see. Someone with flaming torch can kind of see. You've got the option. You can't, if you want to fucking descend into the tunnel, you can. Gonna completely fucking go off another direction.
I'm just trying to figure out where you need us to go for this combat to happen.
I'm gonna be 100% real. I plan the combat in the street. I'm gonna be above the table.
Down the tunnel.
As Matt goes down the tunnel, Lelianna's like, I am having a vision. We must go to the street.
Let me say it in a way that would make sense to the insightfulness that is Lelianna. You're confident enough in your party's abilities that you could go through the tunnel and perhaps maybe find a way out. Perhaps. You know that if you stay downstairs, an alarm's already been rung. What's not to stop them from bringing the structure down on top of you, or simply calling the police to send someone there to come fuck you guys up. You are a non-existent, a group that wasn't even on the radar, and you've come in and caused a disturbance. As far as they're going to see a party that have come in and just started a row. If you move to the streets, you can take on the group that you definitely know are going to be there to fight you. However, you can get out. And there's a shitload of civilians that you can use as meat shields.
Or be all like, please, we're innocent. Go get the police.
That's not as subtle as Mac will be.
Alright, that's a very long, very deep tunnel. That looks scary and dark. I'm not keen. Look, an alarm's already been rung.
Yes.
Let's just fight on open ground. Surely they're going to be sending in reinforcements. Let's light this poo-poo place up and just wipe and clean on the floor up on the surface. It looks like we've cleaned out here, so
Sounds like a plan. Immediately hides under your skirts.
Max out
Sure.
taking all those oils that he found,
Yes.
just smashing them on the ground and spreading them out.
Throw some down that tunnel too. Fuck their day.
Oh, you know that's gonna burn bad. There's no air down there. You guys light this place up,
Yes.
and on the way out, just real quick, I feel like it's a real cool shot. Does anyone have any like flame magic?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, Mac was sort of smashes off.
I do
spread
have
a little
fairy
thing back to the
fire.
door where we first came
if
in.
that.
Oh,
It's on
you.
fire.
It's this cool shot where everyone. So Mac runs up the stairs first because he's basically bulletproof. Let's be honest. Vasco's hiding under your skirt, and you'll run up with them. And at the last second, you kind of like put your hand on Lelianna's back to like usher her up the stairs. At the last second, you kind of just turn around, and with this like super cool, rugged, fucking 2009 style movie style look, you just go, "See you in hell," and click your fingers, and the fairy fire lights it, and instantly this place just fucking goes up. Just woof, and it's just you just get blasted by heat, like your hair blows back a little bit. You're like, "Whoa!" and you sprint up the stairs.
Honey, where are your eyebrows?
In the open city streets.
Draw them back.
Before, like, when we come out into the pub, right?
No, because the tunnel's
They're bushy
outside.
as fuck. He's got a unibrow now.
But
Oh, what's happening?
you see a multitude of civilians that are reacting to a group of people drawing weapons and drawing steel and waiting for you guys in the city streets. And that's where we're going to end this episode of this little shindig we got going on here. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Good evening.
Bye.
The Undying League will return for a part 2.